Yo, 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 yo. We are live back again for another episode of the weekend stream. I got my boy Leroy Green in the building. I am Ron Shady in the building tonight on a Saturday, the only podcast rocking on a Saturday night for the people to enjoy. What's up, my boy? What's good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Having a good weekend so far, man. Some great music came out. Music I can vibe to. Music. We're gonna get into the feeling. Get into your feelings today, people. With some music you can feel, you know?
Some
I
music you can feel.
yeah,
Some music you can feel. So you out in Cali. I'm out here at an undisclosed location in the South.
all right.
Atlanta somewhere, and you were rocking to some new music. So what were you feeling this week? I know Rapsody came out,
Mhm.
Mach Hommy dropped. What else dropped? Lupe dropped a single on Friday called Samurai. He announced his new album. It's coming out in June, under the same name.
Right.
We didn't touch last week that Chance the Rapper and DJ Premier dropped a song. But let's talk about Rhapsody. Let's talk about you kick it off tonight. Since you locked in on these albums, you kick it off. Where you want to take us tonight, Leroy?
All right, we're gonna kick it off, man. We're gonna do ladies first, man. We're gonna do ladies first because it's the ladies, man, and we're gonna get into our feelings. We're gonna have a good weekend, man. I want y'all shout out to Mad Max, Super Duper, Dead Ass Poet Society, everybody in the building. I can't see all of y'all right here, but shout out. Tomorrow's Sunday, I want y'all to have a great Sunday, relax, chill. When you wake up in the morning, a lot of people do they cleaning of their house on Saturday. I mean on Sunday, right? So put on the album, put on Rhapsody's album, and just chill. Don't worry, we gonna get to bars. We got Mach Hommy, in the tuck, in the chamber. But first, we gonna let the ladies go first, right? And it's a little bit of undertones of what we saw yesterday with one of our hip hop moguls, right? So we going to reverse that type of energy. We going uplift Rhapsody. Now I've been following Rhapsody for forever, right? She's a Jamla. She was the flagship artist for Jamla, right? This is when Ninth Wonder went to start his own label, start his own movement. He got Rhapsody, right? So Rhapsody is your rapper's rapper, right? And I know she really doesn't like labels and stuff like that because she's a human being, right? And we recognize her humanness, but that's what this album is about. This album, Please Don't Cry, is about going inward, right? Doing the work on the inside. So that way, when you show up to do your work on the outside, you could be fully intact as a human, right? We have our emotions intact, we have our relationships intact, and things like that. So I think it was a great album, right? Usually she's battle rapping her whole way through. This time it got more personal. She started off the album with the Oracle with Felicia Rashad, right? She did the voice of the Oracle from the Matrix, and the Oracle. That's a female. It could be a man too, but that's a female that taps into some principles of the universe and stuff. So she tells her to go inward and do the work on the inside, right? So that's how the album starts off. I don't know. Did you get a chance to listen to it, to Ron? Ron?
I did, and I wanna say Rhapsody is like shout out to Super Duper. He just dropped something I was gonna say. She does remind me of a female Black Thought. The joint with Hit Boy. I liked. That was the lyric that we chose for the thumbnail. Shout out to Rhapsody for that. And the song with Wayne, I forgot the name of it, but the song with Wayne, I
Raw.
like. And Wayne, that's just another verse from Wayne that just shows from the last year and a half. I think it started with Pistol on My Side, the joint he did with Swiss. He's been on a low tear. He's been on J.Cole had that talk for a little bit about the feature game and just spit at a high level. But if you
Yep.
look at Pistol on My Side, then you got Big Dog, then you got the joint he did on Magic 3, Never Die with Nas, then you had the thing he did with Chains. I
Yeah.
mean, Wayne's been on a little run, man. So shout out to Wayne for jumping on that Rhapsody project, man. We got a super chat from Mad Max. Mad Max says, I didn't hear Lupe, so I can't comment on that Mach Hommy. I didn't bump either, but not, how many Haitian homage flag day drops you gonna do? Shout out to my Zoes, though.
Shout out to the Zoes. We're gonna get into the Haitians, right? That Markham reminds me of another Haitian, right? We're gonna get into that, right? Haitian, I mean, we're gonna go there, right? But we're gonna kick it off with the ladies. So she started off with the Oracle. And the song you're talking about with Lil Wayne is called Raw. So he killed that verse. You know what I mean? He went in so dope that Rhapsody had to rewrite her verse and use his cadence, but she had dope bars, right? You know, she's saying, y'all talking about life, but judging Nick Cannon. You got to listen to the song to understand the levels to that bar, right? So, okay, so we're gonna go there. Yeah, and you know, she's talking about what's real to her versus what's the illusion of the music industry, right? While trying to find who she is, right? Because you have to be in this industry and also give a piece of yourself so that, you know, people can be familiar with your music, right? So y'all heard Asteroids, right? Y'all threw rocks at her. She threw asteroids back. That's about the asteroids is her authenticity is her music always contains a message, right? So that's what she keeps in her music. That's her like special power, right? And she's not knocking. One thing she said in an interview recently, she's not knocking the women that have, you know, the more sexual music or the more, you know, it's selling a more sexual consumerism based music, right? Because she doesn't want to combat that, but she just does what she does. So y'all heard Asteroids. And again, y'all, this is not so much a battle rapping you out this time, right? This is tap into your feelings. I know everybody's tough, right? But tap into the music, listen to the beats, the production. And with Mach Hommy, we're going to get into production. With Lupe, we're going to get into production with jazz elements in his music. Feel the music. Don't just listen for the dopest bars you can hear. Also feel what's going on so you can understand the music more. Stand Tall. It's another great song. She's dealing with how her sexuality is perceived, right? She's dealing with panic attacks. I've been in relationships with women that suffer from panic attacks and stuff like that. And this is why we have to, you know, in light of what we saw yesterday, we have to learn to treat our women in a certain way, right? Rhapsody's album is about healing, right? So not everything is physical. Not everything is a physical trauma. There are a lot of mental traumas as well, right? So when someone's dealing with anxiety, panic attacks, and women, you want to try to heal those afflictions if you're in a relationship with a woman, right? Because a lot of it is mental. It's not all just physical, right?
Right,
So
right. And before you, I know you cooking right now, Leah. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Ill Magic said, "Listen to Rhapsody's album transports me to a colorful garden where the sun valiantly shines through the rain, creating a peaceful atmosphere." Peace, man. I appreciate that, bro. That does, it does, it does. It is very soothing. We're gonna talk about that in the context of female rap in a bit, but she did paint a sonic picture on the album that I heard today. It was dope, and I can respect where you're coming from. Mad Max with the super chat says, but I did bump Rhapsody. Her beats were better. But I'm sorry, it was boring. I'm not interested in bumping that again. Bumping her makes me understand why Coop bragged about Lauren because rap diet Lauren.
No, I get that. I get that, but I would think Lauren and Rhapsody are in the same vein, right? If we're talking about Lauren, she's better than most of the male rappers. She's better than most of our GOAT level rappers, right? She will get rid of them pretty easily. You know what I mean? If it's about bars. So, but Rhapsody is along those same lines. Again, she's not selling you how much sex she does, right? She's not selling you that. She's selling you a more of a higher, you know, something higher. But when you spoke about the colors, I don't know if it was Super Duper, but the colors on the album or another super chat, she used color palettes as to create the songs, the feeling of the song. So she would take different pictures of paintings with certain color palettes, with certain flavors she would give to the producers and say, okay, make this. And that's why the beats sound like a color. You know, you have Felicia Rashad, she described as like a warm orange or brown. And then she has other songs that's like Diaries of a Mad Diaries of a Mad Bitch is red. Other songs that she describes as green or so she's using color palettes in that way. So
Yeah, she is, and you know, I know that female rap is not everybody's cup of tea, but I do think, you know, shout out to Rhapsody. She's
yeah.
dope. She can spit. I mean, she's got a lane that's different from what the other females, a lot of the other females are doing right now. And I like her in history. You know, in my time in hip hop, you know, I started out back in the day with, you know, Queen Latifah and MC Light and JJ Fad and Boss and
Oh yeah.
Bahamadia, and then shout out to Mia X, shout out to Queen Pen, shout out to
Mhm.
Charlie Baltimore, Little Kim, Foxy Brown, you know what I mean, Rod Digger. Back in the day, I traded Mike D a Rod Digger CD for any given sound, any given Sunday soundtrack, which is a dumb trade, but I can't front. I don't really revisit. Now, Lauryn Hill is someone I did revisit most often, right? I think
Right.
the two female MCs that I would go back to a lot were um were Lauren, and also um it was
Mhm.
Lauren and then Little Kim. Those are the two ones I listen to the most. You know what I'm saying? But shout out
Yeah.
to Rhapsody. I just think that it's a different dynamic. Shout out to Eve. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Cardi. Shout out to the new out of the new generation. I know I'm getting off topic, Leroy, but the new generation, the ones that I like,
Yeah.
um, I like Lotto. I mean, I like Lotto. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
cool.
I think
Yeah.
she does that. She does what she does. But Glorilla's all right. But I mean, out of the new crop, I'm gonna say
Mhm.
Lotto. You know what I'm saying? As far as just, I think she can spit. You know what I mean? If you really listen to it, you listen to how she approaches the records. I
Right.
think Lotto has the potential to really kind of spit some bars, man. But other than that, but shout out to Rhapsody. She dropped a dope album. I think this album could be in the conversation of album of the year so far. We in May right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
She dropped a solid project. But Leroy, continue to cook, brother.
Yeah, no, Lotto was dope. Shout out to Sweetie. I used to live not too far from where she went to high school, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. She's from the Bay Area. But no, Lotto's dope. Everybody brings what they bring to the table, right? People that are looking for bars on this album, the bars are there. They're just sneaky. Like she'll say a bar, and the reference at the beginning of the bar will play on the punchline at the end of the bar. So the bars are there. It's just she's speaking about things that are more softer to a female. She's speaking about her emotions, right? She has a love songs on there, like 3 a.m. That one time, like again, love songs. I know it's corny, y'all. I know it's corny, but that's a reality, right? Love is a reality, is what I'm saying. She has loose rocks on there, and that was a that's a personal song. Again, and she's talking about dementia, right? And also to go back to physicality, right? We don't want to be striking women because it can cause a reaction in their mind that later triggers dementia, right? So she speaks on that, and not in the way I just spoke on it, but she talks about that, and we probably have all dealt with that. Somebody in our family, whether it be an auntie, grandma, whoever, right? Um, God's Light, also dope. Faith, super dope song. I ran back Faith a bunch of times. So, again, just for tomorrow, when y'all are chilling, it's Sunday, lazy Sunday, chill. Just put the album on and just vibe out to the music. Cause sometimes it's about how the artist um falls into the music cadence wise, subject matter wise, hook wise, stuff like that. So the pairing of the two together, what she did with her lyricism and the music, it was fire, man. And as far as just what she represents, standing on integrity as a woman, an archetype that's different from a lot of other ladies that I see, I gotta salute, man. I gotta
No doubt,
salute.
no doubt, no doubt. I left off a few. Shout out to Salt and Pepper.
Salt and
Shout out to
pepper.
Salt and Pepper. Who else I left off on that list, man? Hey,
Pep.
Soleil was cool. Soleil back in the day was all right. Soleil, Eve. We had what was the young lady's name? Was it Rashida? Not Rashida. Vita from Murder Inc. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true,
Uh,
Rashida. Yeah.
you had was a Mill. I don't really count a Mill as a rapper, but she, I'm just trying to show the ladies some love tonight. Who else we had? We had what was homegirl's name? Shauna from the Shot
Oh,
Town. You know what I'm saying? Rap with DTP, Disturbing the Peace, and Ludacris.
her too, but
Uh,
I met Shauna, told her how dope she was. She started crying, right? But this is how we pay honor to our people that came before us. I told Shauna, look, I've been following you since Infamous Syndicate. I remember hearing you when I was a young dude working at a record store, hearing bars, right? Same way when I first fell into the Rhapsody. I heard bars. I heard Pen Game. I heard somebody that cares enough about bars, lyricism, and selling a higher intellect over the music. She started crying. It was too real, you know, but that's how we give it up, right? For people who set that bar and people who put that forward first, you know?
Yeah. Jean Grey as well. Jean Grey. Who else? Yo Yo. Shout out to Yo Yo. She had an interview with Mike D a few years back. And I was trying to get Yo Yo. I think we're gonna try to get Yo Yo back on when we do like our top 10, top 20 female MCs of all time show and get Yo Yo on. We're gonna get Shauna on. Maybe we get
Yeah.
Rashida on. We just want to talk to these ladies, man, give them their flowers, man. While they still here, man. But
And don't
yeah.
let me cook too fast, y'all. You know, because sometimes I get on here and be talking, and y'all be like, "What is he talking about?" If y'all need me to clarify something or break down something, let me know. You know, don't let me go too fast on y'all, man. It's a lot to unpack with a lot of songs.
So let me ask you a question. As far as the production on this album,
Mm.
what did you think about the production? How she approached her beat selection on this joint?
I loved it, man. I loved it. Now, the production on Mach Hommy's album, I really got into detail with. We'll get to that in a second. But I love the production. On all of Rhapsody's albums, the production is what pulls me in at first, right? And y'all know I'm a huge Ninth Wonder fan. Y'all remember we was talking about producers, how high I had Ninth Wonder on my list. So he did a lot of those albums back in the day. But just her production, it's a soulful vibe. I'm a soul brother. You know, if you hit me with some soul music, I'm gonna go with it because that's me. That's me. She got Erykah Badu on the album. She got, you know what I mean? She got soul music, man, and that's what I'm in. That's what hits me, right? You know what I mean? So I loved it, man. I loved it.
No doubt. Well, shout out to Rhapsody. We want to come back on that. Leroy, you got any more on that thought before I go to Lupe, real quick?
No. I just encourage y'all to listen to it, man. You know, put it on, you know, play it, you know, let your girl hear it, man. You know what I mean? If you got any daughters, let your daughters hear it, man. You know what I mean? And y'all do y'all Sunday cleaning up to the Rhapsody album and feel that, especially on tomorrow morning, you know, Sunday, a holy day. Y'all gonna feel it, man. But, you know, that's all I got right now because, you know, but maybe I'll go back after I see what producers did what beats on there. But we can cook on Lupe.
Shout out to NYC too. Shout out to Scarlett. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, haven't heard much of her music, but you know, Scarlett's got a real, you know, gravelly tone, you know what I'm saying, real aggressive, like, you know what I'm saying? She was on Funk Flex. That's the first time I heard her. You know what I mean? And shout out to Scarlett. I would like to talk to her as well. You know what I mean? All right, Super Duper, you starting already. He said Lupe's track is dumpster juice.
That's
Damn, Super Duper. Come on, bro.
Nothing.
I liked it, bro. I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? I thought it was Lupe doing Lupe things and, you know, prepping people for his album Samurai.
Right.
I didn't think it was dumpster juice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
No,
What did you think? What was your thoughts on it, Leroy?
So the hook, right? I don't have the hook written down in front of me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher it right now. But the cadence is like, I got days, beautifully articulated, little battle raps for you, right? He's singing about someone who writes battle raps, right? So that came from a voicemail that Amy Winehouse left for Salaam Remi, saying that she don't know what's going on, but she was tripping out just writing a bunch of battle raps, and she was just in a battle rap zone, right? So samurai, and she thought of herself as a samurai in that way, right? Now, some people may be like, well, that's very weird. You know what I mean? Amy Winehouse, you're writing battle raps and thinking of yourself as a samurai, right? But what she did with her music is call back to a time of a jazz era, of trying to have a renaissance in an era where pop music was the mainstay, right? So he's rapping about someone singing their song on the side of the opera house, not in the opera house, but on the side of it. This speaks to a separation in not just the music, but in class, in styles of rap, right? He's talking about battle raps. So that's what the song is about. You know, Lupe, in my opinion, is probably the conceptual GOAT. When it comes to writing conceptual raps, he's probably the GOAT in that era. If y'all know a better conceptual writer than Lupe, then you can let me know, right? But when it comes to that, a person who is making a rap with about 3 or 4 different layers under the rap, he might be the GOAT of that, right? So I love the song. It had a jazz feel. It had a in his singing, it had that cadence, had her cadence in it as well. You know, and it wasn't exact, of course, but that's what it was. And we have to learn to appreciate another style. If something is not your style, right? Learn to get out of the box. Just like listening to a female rapper. None of Most of us are not females, right? But we get out of the box to understand another person's shoes. And that's what most I think that's why I think most I'm trying to push here is to people to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your box, and step into another person's shoes. The same way Lupe is attempting to do with Amy Winehouse with the album Samurai. And if something is not your style, it's okay. It's okay, y'all. You can get back to your style, but listen to some other styles and figure out and try to figure it out. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yo, Mad Max Super Chat says, LOL, Scarlip is just a diet female DMX. But yo, we miss X, man. So I like that feeling that she brought. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And and my, and
Go
my
ahead.
man Sound Mind in the chat says that Lupe track sounds like the cool era Lupe, and that is a reason why it does sound like that. I was reading a report today from Complex that Soundtrack was produced the song, and then that song was made in a session with his manager, Charles Chill Patton, and that's the first time they all three of them have worked on it in the studio together since the Cool album back in 2007. So it's a reason why it sounds in that aesthetic because they're going to be working. All three of them are working on the project, and that's why it kind of falls in that vein.
So Chill was in the studio with them.
Yeah, that's what Complex reported. So Soundtrack, Lupe, Chill, they were in
I'm
the
a
studio. First time they made something since 2007, the Cool. So that's why it kind of has that vibe. And I think he released a video. I haven't seen a video yet, but I think
Is
he
that
put a video out. Yeah, he put the video out. He put the he did put the video out. He put the video out. I think he put another one though out. I think he put another one.
He free, y'all? Y'all
Who?
telling me Chili is free. He's out of jail.
Yeah, he's released. Yeah.
What? Hey,
Yeah,
shout out, man. Hey, that's crazy. A lot of Lupe's career has to do with the incarceration of Chili. Like a lot of his music, a lot of his albums, a lot of his circumstances has to revolved around the incarceration of Chili. So if he's out now, I think that's super that made my night. And I don't know the brother. I don't know Lupe. I don't know none of these brothers, but that made my night. You know
yo, we got Ill Magic with the super chat. So this might be the album Lupe made partially as a dedication to Winehouse with this concept. He spoke about the album like 7 years ago, I believe. Yo,
Yeah.
shout out to my man Ill Magic with that info. Yo, Amy Winehouse, man, I don't want to deviate from you know our conversation, but Amy Winehouse was dope. She lived in I think she lived in Camden. And when I was in London, they had like a mural of her like in the subway. And I was talking to the folks in London, and they were kind of mystified, especially the black folk. They was like, man, you from Atlanta. They looked at Atlanta like the mecca of black culture. It's like we want to come to Atlanta, and we want to be in Atlanta so bad, and you guys have everything at your disposal, man. And it was like it was crazy. But if you ever go to London, if you've been in London, spend any time in London, those people, the music places have a lot of soul in them, man. I went to this place in Shoreditch, right? And it was like a jazz club, it was like a blues club, but they were playing like but it was laid over like beats. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was crazy. It was like a fusion of jazz and hip hop. And it was just weird seeing it because I'm like one of the only brothers in there, seeing how this music is moving people. And then you kind of see the flavor. What I think Josh Stone is from over there. I think you got Adele's got that flavor.
Yeah.
Amy Winehouse, Nas and Amy Winehouse worked
Mm.
together. Some say they were kind of involved in a relationship of some sort. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, shout out to London, shout out to Amy Winehouse. She was an artist that passed too soon, you know, couldn't shake her demons. But they get it over there, man. London's a cool little musical town, man. But I digress. Go back to the music, Leroy.
As they should, you know what I mean, and so that's what Lupe is on. I take it that his next album will play off that and then go into a bunch of different dimensions of that, different layers with that. I haven't heard the album, so but we know what Lupe does, right? So I take it that that's what you do, and he's speaking through Amy Winehouse as a samurai battle rapper. So, but again, taking two things that have nothing to do with each other, right? And making them real, even though they're imaginary or conceptual. That's a skill. You know what I mean? And I think what Amy Winehouse did when she was alive, she blended different styles and flavors. And I think that's what Lupe does on a lyrical level. So I'm excited for the album. I'm excited for any Lupe offering, because for the lyrical guys, we get to dig through the lyrics and find a, it's learning, it's like always finding something new. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that.
Right. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. We got Mad Max for the super chat here. He says, will ATL in the South in general do a better job on telling you about Black culture than any other region any other region? New York is hip hop culture, and the West are gangbang culture. The South tells us about Black America. Yo, I see that. I see that. I see that. Much respect. Much respect to that. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat. And we're going to be in New York soon, Mad Max. We'll let you know when we're going to be up there. We'll highlight you, when we touch down. You know what I mean? Jermaine Johnson, I really like Rap's album on my fourth spin. Love. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a dope album. I'm on my second spin right now. So shout out to Rapsody on that joint.
Yeah,
Back
man.
to Lupe. Super duper ain't feeling it. I don't have my phone right now, Super duper. I was sending you the link to hop on and explain that thought, but
It's all
let me see if
good.
I can send it to you on my computer or something. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I like Lupe, man. I like the cool. Food and Liquor was dope. You know what I'm saying? He's got dope projects. I'm looking forward to the Samurai to see what he's gonna do. I know he's been trying to throw his name in the ring. I think he was probably setting up this project, saying he
Right.
won't smoke with anybody that want to bring it. I would love to see it, to keep the energy fresh. But we'll see. We'll see.
I like that energy. Lupe is always down to throw bars, man. Always down to samurai it out and clash with the bars. And he's free. He's free. He's not into where he has to create for a commercialism, for commercial consumption. And just like Rhapsody is free, this was her last album on JAMA, by the way, but Rhapsody is free. Lupe is free. Mach Hommy is free. They're not creating music to be cool. They're creating music that they feel. So that's another level of music. That's not attached to trying to commercially make it cool for the teenagers. That's not what they're about. You know what I mean?
Yo, let me go back to Mad Max real quick because I wanna unpack this, right? Mad Max said again, he said, well, ATL and the South in general do a better job on telling you about Black culture than any other region. New York is hip hop culture, and the West is gangbang culture. The South tells us about Black America. And I kind of get, Mad Max, I don't want to speak for you. I kind of get what he's saying. In the South, my grandparents were in the South. They were in a place called Georgetown, South Carolina. They migrated to New York. My mother was born in the Bronx. All our family went to New York, then came back down. My dad, they were in Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee area. You know what I mean? And then the military took some of my family to the West Coast to San Diego, Navy situations, right?
Right.
But in the South, everywhere I've been, in America, it's always been people always amazed that I'm from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go to different cities don't operate like Atlanta does. You listen to Deion Sanders, when he got to the Atlanta Falcons, he was like, it was the first time he saw, and he's from Florida, he saw
Yes.
black folks in different occupations. We had
Mm.
a lot of black people in politics, black people in lawyers, doctors. And then it's without question, New York is the epicenter of hip hop, the birthplace of hip hop. So a lot of hip
Mm.
hop is birthed in New York City, right? You don't have hip hop without New York.
Right.
So I get what Max is saying. Now gangbang culture, I don't know anything. My people on Cali were in San Diego. You know what I mean? So I don't know much about the gangbang culture. I know they bang out in Little Rock, Arkansas. I know
I get
there's
it.
in Nebraska there's gang culture. I know there's gangs kind of culture kind of spread everywhere. But I know when we were coming up, it was always associated with Los Angeles. But I get what Mad Max is saying without speaking for him. But shout out to the comment though.
No, I understand what Matt Max is saying. I understand what you're saying as well. Now, New York could be the birthplace of hip hop, right? But I think hip hop was here before that. I think hip hop has always been here. I think hip hop was in Negro spirituals that was in the South that navigated our way through trying to get free. Then hip hop. I think hip hop was in the blues when white folks turned it to country. I think hip hop was in jazz when we were doing different things with instruments. I think hip hop was in R&B when we started bringing the soul and the love and the, you know what I mean, and the good times. I think hip hop was in all these things, and then it came into the rap, right? It came into New York City and traveled through the South, traveled through the Midwest, made its way to the West. The West it's gangbang culture as far as popularity, but we have a little bit of everything, right? My family, most of my family, they came out of Fillmore, the Fillmore district in San Francisco, right? So if you look at Atlanta, you look at old Fillmore, you're gonna see black excellence, right? You have black lawyers, black doctors, black educators, black everything, you know what I mean, from all the levels, you know what I mean? And over time it changed, yes, but I'm talking about back in the day. So, but larger point, I think hip hop has always been here. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. Super Duper has joined us on the weekend round. What up, brother?
What's really good? What's really good?
What's
What's
up, bro?
going on? So I
Hey
take
man,
it, sir. You're not a fan of Lupe.
no, it's not. It's not about being a fan. It's just that it's just a song. Like y'all gassing this shit right now, man. Like why y'all? It's he ain't doing nothing special on that song. He rapping. He doing his lyrical miracle. But
Mhm.
what's the song about? I'm asking y'all to. What's the song? What's the song about?
Man,
The
I ain't unpacked it like that.
Yeah,
Super Duper.
because you don't know. Like exactly what I'm saying. Like
I,
it's some lyrical miracle nothing. It's a nothing burger, man.
the
Like
What's
it's
song
what's
the song is about, right?
Leroy, you can explain anything, so I'm not even going.
I'm,
Like
I'm gonna keep it short, right? The song is about classism. Um, Amy Winehouse coming from her circumstances into the mainstream, but he's doing it in an eloquent, lyrical way. That's all it's
was he
about.
talking about Amy Winehouse on that song?
He
That
he
was
is
hey,
he's alluding to her. He's alluding to her. You know,
man. You reaching, man. Like I said, like
I'll put you up. I'll put you.
I mean, like I said, the song. I won't say it's horrible,
Yeah.
but it's nothing that I want to listen to again. But you know what I mean? Like honestly, I don't want to listen to it again. The
I know.
Rhapsody though is fire. That song with Erica Badu on there. Um, I mean, it's so fresh and new in my mind. I can't think of the songs, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I like the Rhapsody. I can't hate on it. It's nothing to say. The songs make sense. It's not a nothing burger like that Lupe is. That Lupe man, it's just some rap, man. That's just hip hop. It ain't
I
he
feel
ain't
you.
talk about nothing on that song.
yeah. Let me go. We're gonna come back to Lupe real quick. Let me go to super chat. Jermaine Johnson. I just saw Rhapsody last Friday night at the Blue Note Jazz Club in NYC. She made a surprise performance during Robert Glasper's show. Spit a ill 10-minute freestyle over Robert Glasper piano keys. Yo, I bet that was dope, man. I bet that was dope. Well, yeah, we're gonna check out that Blue Note Jazz Club when we come up there, man.
Hey,
We gonna
but
check.
honestly though, I mean, people, keeping it real, the best album that came out this weekend on the low is
Mhm.
that Daniel Son and Rise Fresco. That shit
Okay.
fire. Y'all like I don't know if y'all know about them, but I'm
Nah.
telling y'all right now, them dudes from
I know
Canada,
about. Yeah,
huh? Yeah,
I
they
know.
hey,
I didn't hear the album, so I'm gonna check it out.
hey, that shit got bars on it. So go
Fine.
listen to that Danielson and Ross Frisco. Like we
No doubt.
talking about Conway and all these other people. We got to give some love to the underground because I'm telling you, man, them dudes is rapping. Like they rapping on that album. And
Fire.
it's honestly better than every album that came out damn near this year. Like I'm not even gonna front on it. Like it's fire. It's fire to me.
Just like that. What's your favorite joint on the album?
Man, it's so fresh, man. I can't just spin off a name to you, but the whole album is fire. Like I'm saying, like it just came out yesterday, so I can't name a song on it. But I gave it a listen. I was riding down. I'm in Boston right now, so I'm chilling in the truck in Boston. It's raining like hell out here, so I ain't had nothing but time to listen to these albums.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the
No, I know.
Danielson and Ross Frisco album is fire.
Yeah. No, I know Fresco is dope. You know, it's been a while since I listened to him, but I know he's fire though. So I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
check it out when we get off the live tonight. I'm gonna check it out and we're gonna talk about it on Monday.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But I mean, like I said, I mean, I listened to the Lupe. I mean, I listened to it like 2 times just to see if I was tripping, and I ain't tripping.
You ain't
Yeah.
tripping.
I ain't tripping, man.
It's
like
not.
I said, it's lyrically nice,
Yeah.
but it's a lyrically nothing burger. It's nothing. What is he talking about? Anybody in the chat? I'm not hating on Lupe.
Yeah.
Tell me what that song is about, and I'll shut up.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like on first listen or second listen, it's not something that you would be like, boom, I got it. It's not like that. You know, so I get it. Because I'm not gonna get it on first, second, third time. I gotta listen to Lupe stuff a bunch of times, then try to pull out what I understand. So I'm not mad
And
at you.
I ain't no hip hop dummy. I know what people be talking about. I listen, but I mean, it's a straight song. Like the beat ain't all that. It's you know, it's cool. But I
Mhm.
mean, are you really gonna listen to it? I mean, Ron, you said you listened to it, right?
Yeah, I listened to it. I did.
Is it in your rotation? Did you save it to a playlist?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I did not, sir. I did
That's
not.
all I'm saying, man. That's what I mean. Like some things you can listen to and you can hear it on the first and second try. And if you ain't gonna put it on no playlist, don't force yourself to try to like something. We can't keep making exceptions for lyrical miracle rap. I mean,
That
we ain't gonna sit here and deny the fact that Lupe can rap. We
that
know Lupe can rap. He
yeah,
lyrically nice.
yeah.
But if the song is a nothing burger, it's a nothing burger.
But that was me as a kid. As a kid, I wanted to hear lyrics that I did not understand. So I would seek out the most something that I was totally clueless about is the music I looked for. Wu-Tang got me into that. I started listening to the Atmosphere like that. I started listening to a bunch of underground cats like that. But anything I did not understand, Razzcast, we're gonna talk about Mach Hommy. A lot of what Mach Hommy saying, people are just not gonna understand. How could I mean, especially if he's speaking in Creole or speaking Haitian, but
Twa.
I like anything that I don't understand because I want to try to understand it.
Speaking of Mach Hommy, now
Yeah.
since you brought him up, I
Okay.
listened to that album front to back too.
Mm.
That shit sound like noise to me.
I
I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm just out the loop, but like the production and them beat selections and stuff, I can't get with it. So I'm here to keep it real. I'm an honest hip hop head. I don't hate on the youth,
Right.
but I never really got into him, and I tried to, but I'm not gonna force myself to like whack music, man. I don't get it. So it just
yo,
it's
yo,
whack. It's not whack, man.
yo,
It's not.
yo. Let me jump in here, super duper, for real quick. I had this exact conversation with Mike D. Shout out to Mike D. He'll be on Monday on his show. Mike Check. We were going back and forth all day, man. My phone died because I went to my boy's a party for his son, and he was saying, you know, I'm listening with old ears, and I'm telling Mike, I'm like, no, man, it ain't old ears, bro. It's just not. This stuff is not good. He was like, well, now you not, you listen, you on that get off my lawn type of stuff. I said, no, Mike. music is music. Sounds don't change. If either sounds good or it doesn't sound good, I'm not going to force myself or get on this platform and just say something that's good just because everybody else is saying it. So I'm not even, I don't even want to go there tonight. I'm not going to go there tonight. I gave him some choices. I said, would you take this album or that album? And every time I gave him that album that I'm not going to name, he gave me the alternative one that I picked. And he was proving my point. I said, so if you're saying that this album is so great, I didn't name you 15 albums and you telling me that all 15 I named was better than the one that they're holding up as the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then I said, I named about 30 songs. I said, does this artist have a song better than these 30 songs? He was like, no. You know what I mean? But he's gonna talk about that on Monday. But I'm not gonna get into particulars of that. But what I'm trying to say, super duper, I understand where you're coming from, bro. I understand where you're coming from.
Hey, it's a lot of people that just get hype and they get love for no reason when there's a lot of guys that's just slipping through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? Like Mach Hommy, I've been hearing his name for a while. So maybe I was listening and I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. One person I can honestly say this from, because I'm not gonna act like I was a Rock Marcy day one. So like I had to learn to like Rock Marcy. And so I just been on Rock Marcy within the last maybe year and a half, 2 years. And now I get it. But Mach Hommy, and I ain't gonna lie either. You know who else I feel like this about? I feel like this about Rome Streets and Stove God. Like I hear what and West Side Gun. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear what y'all hearing when y'all listening to them. So I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna knock it. Maybe it just ain't hit me, or I don't know the songs properly. But them dudes ain't like that, like how people be trying to make them. You know what I'm saying? At all to me.
You listen to Rock Marcy. You listen to Ka and Rock Marcy, the Metal Clergy. K.A. Ka. You listen to Ka?
Yeah, I listen to Ka.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's in the same vein as Rock Marcy, but Rock Marcy's on the album on the Mach Hommy album.
Even that song, fam. That song is whack. Like that beat is whack. You can't tell me you like that. It's not an enjoyable listening.
I fuck with that, man. I gotta be real.
Come on, man, Leroy. Come on, man.
But again, I'm different. If you play me something that I'm expecting, I'm gonna say it's cool. If you play me something that is I don't understand, that's totally left from what I expect, that's totally different, I'm probably gonna like it. I mean, unless it's just completely ridiculous, right? But I mean, to me, Mach Hommy is, he calls his fans the investors, right? The investors. This is why his vinyl be costing thousands of dollars, why his albums be costing hundreds of dollars, because his people that like his music invest in his art, right? He has as many projects as Conway. So this guy is probably going to pump out 5 albums this year that he's not going to talk about. He's not going to be on social media. He don't even show his face. So it's just art, right? I think Mach Hommy is the Basquiat of lyricism. The flow pattern is ridiculous. The beats, in my mind, the beats ridiculous. He has the Dump Legends on there. That's Fahim the God. He got Georgia and Mudro as a producer on one of the songs on Sanjay or Patton. I think she's channeling Dilla. I think the ghost of Dilla is in Georgia and Mudro. If anybody wants to hear who was the Dilla of today, I think he's working in Georgia, right? In her.
Now go ahead, Leroy.
Go ahead. But the song with Rock Marcy, crazy. The song with Black Thought, crazy. Now I'm saying the song, right? Because a lot of these titles, they're Haitian or Creole, right? So I don't want to like say the like sur les ponts or the certain things. I don't want to articulate them wrong, right? But I think it's fire, man. The flow and what he's saying too. The content of what he's saying, you're not going to catch it on first listen. It's like Lupe, but he's saying some stuff. Your Old Droog is on there. A bunch of dope songs, man. Empty Space
on that Mach Hommy, man. That song with Rock Marcy, you can't even bob your head to it. You can't move left or right or nothing to it. You just gotta stand there and listen to it, man. That is whack. I can't lie, fam. Like it's whack. I'm not gonna listen. We can't let this type of shit be the normal in rap. We can't play this game, man.
Rock
There's
Marcy
no
don't make,
rhyme or rhythm to that song.
but
That shit is
Marcy,
almost like rock and roll over, like it's like music over rock and roll, or I don't even know I don't even know how to explain that. Really, I honestly don't.
it's not
The beat don't match the rhymes.
right.
They just saying whatever they want to say over a beat, and like I wonder if they in the studio with that beat on rapping that shit. That shit whack, B. I can't lie. And I listened to that song specifically 4 times to see if I was tripping, because I knew y'all was gonna talk about it. I knew it was gonna come up, and I knew
Right.
I was gonna come in and talk about it. But I'm telling y'all, I
mean,
don't get it. And you know what I'm saying? I don't get it, man.
that song was cool, but I think what makes the appeal of Rock Marcy is that you can't bob your head to his music because it's off kilter. He's not rapping to the right.
I'm not gonna blame this on Rock Marcy. I'm blaming this on Mach Hommy. I'm
Okay.
blaming it on him. And you know, maybe he a little too weird for my flavor.
No,
You
it's
know what I'm
all good.
saying? Like I'm not. Maybe I ain't cool enough for that shit. And I'm just gonna put it right there. I just ain't cool enough to get into that Mach Hommy for real. I'm not hating.
Yeah.
So chat, you know, spare me, whatever. I'm just speaking, man. Like that, it just ain't good music, man. It ain't music that you can ride to. That ain't nothing that you putting in the car and you riding down the street listening to.
People told me that about Nipsey Hussle. They was just like, "Why you listen to that?" You know what I mean? Like, dude ain't
Nah,
even.
bro, you can't compare the two. At least Nipsey was on beat,
Like, he ain't flowing.
and the
Why?
beat matched the song.
He like,
You know what I'm
why
saying? Like
is
that's
he not?
just noise.
I'm just saying when Nipsey Hussle was out here, people was like, "Why is he not flowing, man?" It's like he says a line, then stops. Then says a line, then stops. They'd be like, "That's not rap to me." I heard, so everyone has their own different type of thing that they bring to the table. But I brought up Nipsey because of like the branding, right? So it's not all about branding, of course. It's music first, right? But with Mach Hommy, what I like he brings to the table is, you know, one time he said, "How much is an hour of happiness to you? How much is an hour of happiness worth?" Right? If you could play that hour over and over and over again, how much is that hour of happiness worth? Now that hour of happiness is worth a lot, because we talking about music. Once we get out of here and go back to the street, it's real stuff going on in the street. So we need this music to kind of get us out of a lot of the traumas in the street, man. So I love what Mach Hommy does. I know it's a different type of style flavor, but I thought Rich Ass Haitian was fire, man. I thought it was dope.
Yo. Good looking out, Leroy, on that assessment. We got Mad Max in the building. Mad Max.
Max,
You got the chat blowing up.
as
What's
always.
going on, brother? What's on your mind tonight?
Yo, I just want to say this, right? When I mean the South does a better job of explaining Black culture to people than certain other regions, particularly New York and West Coast, I'm really talking about from a popularity standpoint. I'm not talking about like the West Coast has no Black culture or the East Coast have no Black culture. That's just ignorant. Because I see this guy Shay Sun, he in his feelings. I don't know what bro really mad about. Like, I just said a better job. I didn't say they didn't have Black culture, bro.
Right.
Relax. Talking
Relax.
about depressing people behind the keyboard. Relax. It's not that deep.
Right. And I kind of get what you're saying. I don't think you meant that. You know, I'm not putting words in your mouth that the other places don't have Black culture, because there's a culture in Oakland, there's a culture in LA, there's a culture in New York City, there's a culture in Chicago. Memphis got its own culture. Miami, you know what I'm saying, and Houston's got its own culture. Lincoln, Nebraska, you know what I'm saying. Seattle's got a culture. There's a pocket in Denver. There's a pocket in Phoenix. There's a pocket in Dallas and all types of places, Gary, Indiana, Indianapolis, all types of places. Detroit's got its own culture, which I think you're specifically saying. Atlanta has the home of the AUC, you know what I'm saying, Morehouse, Spelman, you know, there's a lot of Black educated folks here, you know what I'm saying, a lot of Black businesses are here, you know what I'm saying, a lot of Black political classes in Atlanta. The culture here is a little bit different, and it's been looked at rightly, fairly, or unfairly as a Black Mecca for a very long time. So that just is what it is. I mean, it's just indisputable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're not knocking any other cities, but it's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think there was a comment that I saw about what consciousness did the South provide. I mean, hell, even if you talk about the dark grisly raps of Scarface, he's somewhat conscious about the vivid realities of what's going on in Houston, Texas. You talk about Outkast, you talk about Goody Mob, you talk about hell, Ye was born in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of conscious things going on in Atlanta, man. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean,
I
we
know
had. Go ahead.
I know what he meant. So Mad Max, yeah, I know what Mad Max meant. You know what I mean? Yeah. Atlanta, I
And,
love it, man.
and somebody has traveled a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people have traveled a lot. I mean, and I'm talking about my own personal travel experience. I know Super Duper, you be on the road. Not a lot of cities are like Atlanta. I mean, it's not a lot. You can go to like one of the best restaurants in the city and it'd be nothing but us in there. You ain't gonna see that in a lot of other cities, man. You're just not. I mean, that's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? Super Duper, you probably seen it, you know, traveling how you travel. I mean, it's just different. Atlanta's a different place, and it's hard to describe, and people recognize it. You know, when I lived in Texas and I lived in California for a while and I lived in New York, it was always different. It wasn't the same as Atlanta, either right or wrong, fair and indifferent. It just was what it was. You know what I'm saying? But I get you.
It's not even just it's not even just
few places like
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
It's like when you think of New Orleans, just there's a lot of different regions in the South that just when you think of their region, you don't think music. Or I mean, when you think of New Orleans, you think of jazz. We're not do that. But there's just a lot of like black culture, of Black American culture. They have Creole down there. They have their own version of Creole. I'm not saying that no other region has
Right.
Creole or something, but it's just like that's what you think of when you think of those regions because they represent it either more or do a better job in presenting it than other regions. I live in New York. The only part of New York where they kind of do that real black thing is parts of Brooklyn and mostly
Harlem.
Harlem. That's just what it is, bro. I'm
Right,
not
right.
saying the Bronx don't do it. The Bronx do a lot of things, but New York is more mixed with anything. Every race live in New York, so you can't even like it has its own culture as morphed over time. It's not
Right.
just Black Americans that live in New York. New York is as much West African, damn near, and Jamaican as much as it kind of is the Black American element. Like there's a lot of Haitians here. There's a lot of West Africans here. There's a lot of obviously Black Americans, Jamaicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. I've seen every race in New York, so it's kind of different than the South. That's just my aspect of looking at it.
Gotcha. Super Duper, you about to say something about two cities that you saw that was similar to Atlanta.
No, I mean the only places that I can really say that's similar to Miami is Baltimore. Baltimore is definitely like that. Parts of Chicago. You know, and I've been to every state. The only place I haven't been is Cali as a truck driver. But you
Come
know,
on through.
there's no places where it's really black centric as Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Other than Baltimore, DC. I mean, like Chicago, and depending on where you are, Chicago is
Mhm.
black centric. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? People don't know. I mean, a lot of people, I'm showing my age when I say this, right? But people think of Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley when they think of Milwaukee, but Milwaukee is a black city. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed the difference. Even it's a lot of places that's really mixed that you think that's hood like that, like Detroit. But Detroit it's a very mixed population of people.
Right.
You got your 8 Mile um, trailer park, white people down there mixed in with the black people. You know what I'm saying? It's very mixed. So it's you know, depending on where you live, but there's not very many that you know, other than like a Birmingham, Alabama, or
I know
like
what
you
you
said, Atlanta, DC, Baltimore, you know, where
mean.
it's really black centric, where you're gonna see most of us really there, you know, to go inside with what Matt Max say, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I just was in Harlem. I go to Harlem all the time, but I'm just saying like it's um it's very black when it come down to the culture. You know what I'm saying? It's not a very mixed place to be where you gotta have to deal with the multiculturalism
Mm.
like you
Well,
do in other major cities.
well, I think in our lifetime, Atlanta would be the spot, right? But I think in our parents' lifetime or in our grandparents' lifetime, it was another spot, and in another spot. I think black folks have moved all around the country. So at any given point in different parts of history, it was at one point it was Black Wall Street. At another point, it was Harlem. At another point, it was California. At another point, Compton and Oakland. At another point, it was Chicago, and even and but everywhere, right? I think as we move around, and now it's Atlanta, you know what I mean? And being that the technology has caught up with the culture now. Now I can talk to whoever I want. I could put out anything I want. So when Atlanta, now technology has met with the culture, right? And it's the Mecca, you know what I mean? So I think it moves around,
I might have missed the point of what we was actually talking about when Mad Max brought this subject up, but like you said, I mean, I travel, I go everywhere. So when I go places, I see what Mad Max is saying. You know what I'm saying? I understand what he mean when he's saying that. I understand what Ryan is saying when he's saying that, because there's not very many places that's, other than like a Mississippi or Memphis. You know what I mean? There's not very many places where it's really a black centric place. But like I said, I don't know why we talking about this. Like, so excuse
Right,
me,
right,
but
right, right. This is hip hop, baby. It takes us in different directions. This wasn't on my production card today with Leroy, so this took us in a good spot. But we got John Nori on the backstage, and we got Shah Sun. I think Shah Sun wants to speak and kind of defend his points. I want to add both of them real quick. John, you've been waiting first, so John, go ahead and say what you got to say, and then Shah Sun after John.
Hey,
What's up? What's up, B? What's good?
what's good? What's good? I didn't catch the whole conversation, but I came in, I guess, at the right time. I mean, if we talking culture, yeah, New York kind of started hip hop culture, but it's part of Black American culture. It's an extension, and the roots of Black American music is in the South. We have to give credit where credit is due. It comes from the South,
Right.
and a lot of those artists, that did the Chitlin circuit. Part of that circuit was Harlem, was the Apollo Theater. We saw all of the greats. So we soaked all of that music in that was coming down from the South, all of those great acts. We soaked that in. So when you have a hip hop start and you're using these break beats and the disco samples, that's part of it.
Right.
What we're rapping over is that's part of that extension, that family tree that we all take. Just because New York started, hip hop, it doesn't mean that we're gonna exclude all the other different regions who contributed to the greatest culture that this world has ever seen. That's taken over the modern era. We're all a part of that. All of us are part of that at this point. All Black Americans are part of hip hop now. It's not just a New York thing. Yes, we started it, but I feel like we should all give everybody their flowers because it's gone beyond even this country and overseas. But we got to give the South their credit though. They definitely put the roots of the Black American music. It's all based on the blues.
No, no, no doubt, no doubt. And John, real quick, I didn't want to touch on this now. You still tired from doing your victory lap, bro?
Never. I'm waiting for the album to drop. Then I'm gonna
Oh,
do another one.
all
Cause
right.
we gonna run the block on we gonna run the block on them, man. I'm in New York, so I'm close to the border. We gonna run the block on them.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Yo, stay on the line. We're gonna come back to you real quick. Shot son, what's good?
Peace, brothers. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
Um, as it pertains to that comment that Mad Max made, I just feel like in the time it's 2024. That statement to me, in my opinion, it's equivalent to how New York felt about the South and the West. When you say, "Oh, the South does a better job at talking about Black culture," because like the brother just said, we all are part of Black culture. I don't think nobody talks about it better. It's all a perspective from different regions. You know what I'm saying? You need that West Coast, idea of what's going on with those Black people, those people in Detroit, those guys in Chicago. It's all Black. I don't think the South. And then when we talk about hip hop, let's get back to hip hop. Who in the South, hip hop wise, is talking about anything? The popping people besides J. Cole, that's talking about something of substance.
You got Future, you got 21, you got he said, oh, you just mentioning rappers. What else are we listening to? We ain't got no old Southern artists popping right now. From the blues and jazz era, we got rappers. So what rapper in the South is talking about black culture better than everybody else? They're not talking about anything worth helping the society or growing anybody. I'm not saying New York is, I'm not saying the tri-state is, I'm not saying the West Coast is, I'm not saying the Midwest is. I'm just saying when you make statements like that, it just got to have some relevance. Now, if you wanted to say that back in the 60s or 50s when rap didn't exist on a mainstream level, cool. But you can't say stuff like that, bro. We all black. It's all black. I don't care that every majority of the black people live in the South or Atlanta. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm not in Georgia to see the expression of black culture like that. I'm in New Jersey. It's black here too. You in New York. It's black here. I don't care that it's diverse. That doesn't mean we're not projecting or pushing black culture. It's all the same thing. And we got to get
But
away from that mentality to
I
accept
think
each
you're
other.
missing the point, bro. That's not really what I don't think nobody really
That's what he
saying that.
said, bro. We talking about he said we talking about hip hop. Let's stay on hip hop. Let's stay on hip hop. We ain't got to talk about that. That was the what he say. Oh, we got to get back to hip hop. Let's talk about hip hop. Who in the South is talking about black culture better than anybody? Who?
Killer Michael. I hear you though. I hear you.
That's
What you're
what I'm
saying.
saying. We
Yeah.
hold the South up to this. Let's think about this. J.Cole should be the best rapper in the game. How we revere Nas. Nas was the best rapper in the game. Do people in the South even revere J. Cole the same way we revere Nas? Let's think about that. When I see people name it, I just seen Jermaine Dupri name his top 5. He put 21 Savage in there.
Right, but I think their bounce is different, right? Their bounce is different. So J. Cole, like I'm not a J. Cole fan, and I don't know why. J. Cole, whatever J. Cole raps, it doesn't matter what he raps. It just doesn't strike me. Now that doesn't mean J. Cole is not dope. J. Cole is fire. It's just he's not for me, right? And I think Atlanta, they have their own bounce. We were just talking about Mach Hommy. That's Haiti. Haiti got a lot to do with American history, a lot to do with it. That's a different bop, right? But depending on where you are, Atlanta, it's more about the feeling of what's being said, more so than the lyricism. Now they do have lyricism.
You know what the difference is that this might be off the subject, but honestly, the South is the first to embrace they accents and twang too. Like they wasn't afraid to be Southern after a certain point. At one point in hip hop, it wasn't cool to be country and to have to have certain slang and to have that country twang to it. So like, the South in Atlanta, shout out to Pimp C and guys like that, Egg Ball, MJG, they embrace their Southernness, Juvenile and guys like that. They embraced their Southernness and brought it to the mainstream. Even guys like Nelly, they embraced their Southernness and they Southern roots and brought it to the mainstream and made it cool. They brought their slang and made it cool to where New York almost had to copy the style in a certain way to where New York is not aesthetically traditional New York now. They had to they started to adopt to the game and they had to start fitting in to different spots. You know what I'm saying? And like do what they could do with that Southern influence. So I think that's more of what he's talking about when he's saying that shout out when Mad Max was saying what he was saying, shout out to the South for pretty much embracing their blackness and embracing who they are as Southern black people and deeply rooted black people.
Yo, let me take it to hip hop really quick. Since my man said something about J. Cole, I'm gonna cut this out later. So I'll cut this out so we won't get a ding. But let me play this J. Cole LA real quick. Y'all remember this joint?
Yeah, rest assured, the best is here in the flesh, and that's for sure. The rest of where I'm a vest, I'm set for war.
No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Hold on.
Shout out A+, Yuck Mouth's roommate who did that beat.
Hold on, this is the one. This is the one.
Hold on, no man. You rapping?
Y'all hear it?
You rapping today, man?
Understatement.
Y'all hear it?
This right here?
Yeah, we hear it.
Only, man.
It's a classic.
LA Lakers. J. Cole.
Woke up this morning and wonder, hey, shit, I get fresh as shit. I keep it humble. My closet like Dover Street used to be bumming. Some days I'm still bumming. The difference is now it's by choice. Got just to peek out the window. These little niggas different. They don't play Nintendo. They play with extendos. I hope you can limbo. That chopper go spin you around like a judge on a voice. I'm from a city where most niggas never get lucky enough to see something outside county limits. I ran up the digits. I don't have no motherfucking business. Complain about nothing. Ain't got no time and no patience for lists. They be making up who they debating is better. Let's face it. He one of the greatest. No Bill Cosby shit. But if niggas is sleeping, then fuck it. Most niggas don't understand me. I don't do the Grammys. I be in my Jimmy's on sofa. Most niggas don't understand me, Ferrari or Camry, I bet I look good in them both. Most niggas don't even get this cold, how you on top, but you don't got no bitches, I know. Most niggas don't even get this, to giving a chance, they trade family for riches, I know. Look at my ceiling, it's endless, I'm sick of these bitch niggas feeling the sentence. It ain't enough vitamin C and they system to get rid of me, I'm a killer, relentless. On top of that, I sound like I'm still in the trenches, I come from the villa, I turn villains to victims. Preachers, see RIP, fill up your mentions, a message for niggas that's feeling ambitious. How come a nigga shit ain't to the prime? Ah, you bitch, off season coming May 14th. Fuck all y'all niggas, it's over for you. I swear to God.
Hey, can I say something real quick though?
He would rap like that, and then
Because that's the prime example why he don't get that love in the South, because that appeals to more to the northern eastern type of, like, we got bops. That's what we do. You know, we got the boom bap, we got bops. The South, they got bounce. He wasn't bouncing on the beat like that. He was riding it, but that's not a beat. That's not a beat you do that to. You got to bring some personality. You got to slow it down on a beat like that. You can't be doing all of that. That's just, you just doing too much. You killing the vibe. He was rapping his ass off, but you're not gonna connect with that beat rapping like that.
But what makes it less black? But it's still black. He's still a black person. He's still a black guy rapping. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not. I'm just basing it off what he said. What he said about conveying this black culture better. I think we all do a great job, because J.Cole can't convey to you growing up going to a bodega his whole life, or a corner store or a poppy store. He can't convey that because he's not from up here. He spent some time in Queens. I know he know my people that went to school out here, but I'm just saying he can't convey that. Andre 3000 can't convey that. But Andre 3000 can tell me something about, where he from, and I would want to hear that. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's all the same thing. I just didn't like that statement, because I feel like it's all black culture. We everywhere. So I don't think.
What was the statement?
Let me pull the statement back up. So Mad Max, you want to read it in your own words, sir?
But I did. That was that one.
No, that wasn't that one. It wasn't that one.
I said something about. I remember it. It was like ATL in the South in general do a better job at representing, or not representing, but talking about black culture than other regions. New York is more hip hop. West Coast has their gang bang culture that I hear about. I've never been to the West Coast, but that's what I hear about from them for the most part now. But that was the overall statement. I'm not saying that they don't represent black culture at all. And if you take it that way, bro, I'm gonna apologize for that. I'm man up and apologize for that, because I don't want to hurt your feelings or make you feel like I'm disrespecting everywhere else in the country. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to violate. All I'm saying is, historically, when I think of certain regions and when I think of what they're talking about outside of Harlem in New York, because I've been to Harlem, and then parts of Brooklyn,
Yeah,
I mean, some parts of Queens too.
Hey,
but
Mad Max, man, you ain't gotta apologize, man.
That's how you feel.
I understand.
I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to violate. I'm just trying to be like.
But listen, though, Mad Max.
I took it wrong, but I should have taken it wrong. Because
he said he from New York, right? Now, let's think about to the golden years of like the 96s and stuff, right? Like it was mafioso rap, where guys was rapping about, Jay-Z was using slang like the Italians. You know what I'm saying? Like they was more like they was adapting culture too. They was speaking like Italians. If you listen to Jay-Z right now to this day, he still speak like he Lucky Luciano or they're one of the Italians or whatever. So I understand what he's saying when he's saying that, really too, like to where they was embracing the culture that was around them. And New York is more multi-diverse when it come down to it. So even Nas, he did the Street Dreams, or was that the Street Dreams video? Yeah, the Street Dreams video, and he was mimicking a scene from Goodfellas. You know what I'm saying? Like so, you know, like the New York, especially in the early 90s, they did adopt a lot of the Italian mobster way. That's why we even call stuff mafioso rap.
Right.
I get that, but that's street culture. We did also have like a whole intellectual wave from the New York.
That's why I was saying, like,
come on now.
Chuck D didn't exist. Tupac didn't make what was that song? The one when he walked in and he got like the black and white
changes.
No, not changes.
Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's got a baby.
Here we go, ready up, let's go.
Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, holla if you hear. You got. I don't hear nobody from the South was making that type of music, bro. You can't.
I mean, Outkast was definitely Southern. Goody Mob was definitely Southern.
But what I'm saying is this consciousness. We talking about hip hop. Hold on. We talking about black culture and what we going through and spitting this knowledge before rappers. It was Southern artists. You had, you know, I'm black and I'm proud. You got that. I understand that. But when it comes to this hip hop conversation, the South was not pushing this consciousness, and they still don't. And I
will give you that. New York does do the.
But the South has never been known for pushing that, bro.
And my bad.
I'm just saying culturally, and I'm not taking that away. I'm not using that as a tool to say that New York is better. I'm just saying we need it all. So when we can't, I wouldn't make a statement like, yo, they do a better job. I think the South does a great job at expressing black culture because it's black people down there. It's all one. And if we keep thinking like that, we'll be back to the East Coast, West Coast thinking, oh, they can't rap down there. They don't rap right. That's the same mentality to me. That's how I took that statement.
Yo, I mean, you had Outkast, you had Goody Mob. You had Outkast, you had Goody Mob, you had Arrested Development. You know what I'm saying? You had some conscious.
Yeah.
And just to add on to his point, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Atlanta, LA, like even to this day, I go to them because they have a strong following of alternative black artists who are doing something different. The problem with a lot of the Southern rappers not really getting the shine that do something different is you have a whole ecosystem that's built on strip club culture. And that's how they got, you know, that's really how they got put on by bringing that to the culture. And, you know, there's a lot of great art in that.
We need that. Yeah, we need that.
There's a lot of great art in that, but it just, it leaves a big shadow of all these other artists who are doing something different in those places. And they're out there, but they don't get to shine like a 21 Savage, you know, or a Thugger do, because they have this strip club culture that's built so many ecosystems that got so many people rich. And it's hard to outshine that when that's really what, you know, you got your shine off. That's how you got put on.
Well, you know what? Let's do this, bro. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, brother.
Yeah,
that's a good
point. That's a dope.
Since we deviated from our production notes that Leroy and I worked all day to put together, let's talk about conscious rap. You know what I'm saying? Who are some of the, let's just say, top 5 conscious MCs, conscious groups? I mean, you got Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? Would you consider Brand New being a conscious group? I would consider Brand New being a conscious group.
We talking ever? We talking
of all time. Let's walk through it real quick. Let's think about it.
Brand New being, you know, peace God. If you start a conversation off with peace God, that's going to change your whole psychology with 2 words.
Well, so you got to start KRS-One first. You got to first.
Okay. Yeah, we got KRS.
Are y'all throwing in people like Cube and Pop, even though they had their street life escapades?
Hell yeah. I throw them in there.
I don't know if you could throw Cube and Pop.
I mean, they're mostly artists. They do everything. There's nothing that they don't do.
But you can't say Pac ain't conscious though.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I wouldn't call him a conscious rapper. Like that's not his like go-to. But he does everything. That's why we love Pac.
That's traditionally Pac's go-to though. I mean, his first two albums, even to Me Against the World. I mean, you can almost consider them all conscious albums, honestly, up until All Eyes on Me.
What about?
I like those albums, but I feel like his best albums are in the gangsta era. To be quite honest,
what about?
I like how you rap better in those.
What's
But even
most Def's
in the
man
gangsta era, though,
from
even in
Black
the
Star?
gangsta era, they're using the gangsta motif to push in consciousness. That Cube and Pac is just using the gangsta motif, and they could have been real. They could be real in the street too, but they're using that as the outer shell to pump consciousness through. You know,
You would
in my
take Cuban Pac in a consciousness over most
parish.
Def's man's from Black what's most Def's man? He had the podcast.
Talib.
Talib. Yeah, I was drawing a blank. Thank you, bro. You gonna
Yeah,
take him over Talib and Common? I don't know if I could take him consciously.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, but I would take Pac in a more realistic, conscious way over them than like the
yeah.
fantasy conscious that they
Okay,
trying to push.
that makes all right. I hear what you're saying.
All right, so let's go to Outkast though. How long was Outkast conscious? The first two albums, because after a while they got more commercial.
I mean, but the consciousness was always in Outkast up until Speaker Box and Love Below.
Yeah, that's
They
what
was
I
always
remember.
conscious. Equipment Eye was a conscious album.
I mean, to me, consciousness means awareness. So I could put in so many rappers in awareness because I think if you take Pac and Common, well, yeah, Common leans far into consciousness, but Pac is conscious is awareness. I'm aware of what's around me. That's consciousness.
If
So
we're doing it by awareness, then it's KRS and then Nas.
okay,
Or you can say
if you're breaking
you
it
can
down
almost
like
say
that.
If we going it by
KRS. I
awareness,
mean,
we gotta go Nas before we go anybody else after KRS, and then Chuck D.
or even Ice Cube though. Ice Cube don't get enough, especially when he went solo. Ice Cube was pretty much conscious for his first 3 albums, all the way to Predator, to Bootlegs and B-sides.
Now I'll give you Ice Cube because he
Yeah,
definitely
I give
talked
you
about
Q.
that community that I don't
I
want
was
to.
definitely just playing America's
Y'all
Most
not
Wanted
throwing
yesterday.
y'all not throwing Scarface in there?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you
But
Scarface.
fuck,
Scarface,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't consider Scarface conscious. I would consider
He's
Scarface
gangster.
Real.
That's
more
gangster.
street real,
Yeah, more.
almost on the same level as a Too Short. Like I said, I mean, I know y'all might not agree because a lot of people don't really know Too Short's
I got you.
catalog and pedigree like that, but Too Short is just as conscious as a Scarface. You know what I mean? Like when you look at how Too Short was talking about, even like a lot of his talk about the women, it line up today. You know what I'm saying? Like, or even when he talk about when he do get conscious, it's all very relevant to today,
It's all
even
black
from his
culture.
old lyrics.
Darren Harris said Rakim, but I don't know if I could say Rakim is more like spiritual. He's
I mean, I
like
got
5% the knowledge.
Hmm.
Rakim is. I guess we gotta put Rakim. That's my guy.
I mean, just
I rock
being
with Rakim.
black period, just being black period, you're gonna say something conscious because you done experienced something that made you think that it's deeper than on the surface. So
But
a lot of these artists they go in and out of consciousness. I think even the most gangster or Kodak Black might say something conscious. He has said something conscious. So I think all of them go in and out of that because how can you escape it? You black in America. Something conscious is gonna come out your mouth at some point because you ain't got no choice. You
even
know,
down to a
That's
21
right.
Savage.
Yeah,
21
21
Savage have
gun.
his conscious moments. You know what I mean? So
I think conscious rap
um
is the ultimate style of rap because you can't beat consciousness. You can't go over it. You can't go around it. You only can go through it. And all the other styles you can go around. I can go around being a gangster, a player, a money guy, a party guy. I can go around all that. I can't go around consciousness. I have to deal with it.
hey,
You know?
let me
Speaking of
say
black,
this real quick before y'all keep going,
Unless
man.
you're Drake. Unless you're Drake.
I was about to ask. I wanted to ask
Do
what
that.
y'all
Drake
thinking
said so.
about that. I've seen a lot of people
We're not
saying
gonna do that.
why doesn't Drake speak about black issues? Maybe it's just me, but I don't like when people say that because I don't feel like that's every rapper's job. Do you guys agree? Like I hate when people say that. Like, why isn't Drake or this person talking about black issues? I don't think that's every rapper's responsibility or their job.
That's a good point, Shaw son. Super duper cook real quick, and I want to revisit that point brother just made. But go
No,
ahead, super duper real quick.
I just, I just wanted to show y'all some love, man. I appreciate what y'all do, man. Y'all let the audience get in on the topics and speak. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ron and Mike for letting us, jump in and have our opinions and let our opinions be heard. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't no other podcasts out there letting us do this. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them for even like giving us the chance to jump in and have our opinions and be able to speak on this for real.
Yo, I appreciate that, brother. And like, you know what I'm saying, this show, when we had, when Coop departed, well, not this show, because this is the Weekend Rhyme. And we're trying to tell the audience these are different shows that we're creating, right? The Weekend Rhyme was something we want to do on Saturday night. So if some music happened on Friday, like it did yesterday with Lupe and Rapsody and Mach Hommy, we can come on Saturday and address it and really talk about it. When A2HH Live, that show it might be in Coop, ended, we pivoted to Mic Check. Now, Mic Check was a segment that Mike would just come in and tap in and talk about some different things here and there. We always wanted to be like around the horn, where we give people, the audience, an opportunity to come on and let it be according to hip hop, because it's according to hip hop. It's according to the people. It's just not us just talking about it and sharing our opinions. We want to build, we want to think, kind of collab and have discussions like we're having tonight with the According to Hip Hop family. So that's what the whole goal of Mic Check was. Whole goal of Weekend Rhyme is to continue these conversations. Shout out to Super Duper for bringing that up. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, man. It's just, and it's taking some time for the audience to accept that this is different shows, man. We're trying to do different things, and we got more shows coming, man. But back to Brother Shah Son's point. Yeah, I wrestled with this because I heard, and shout out to my brother Pete Rock. You know what I'm saying, the OG. Love Pete to death, man. We were able to build when he was in Nashville, chop it up and break bread. And check out his interview. You haven't checked it out yet. And he posted something where Pusha T was going at Drake about not speaking up for black issues. And it left me conflicted because I understand, you know what I'm saying? But then I understand what Shah's son is saying is it every person's responsibility to speak on, black issues, right?
Ron, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Why? I understand that Pusha T interview, but we have to do a better job in checking certain people at the door. Pusha T, I love you. You're a great rapper. You have no business speaking on that when it comes to Drake. When we think of Pusha T, I'm not saying he never talked about black issues before, but we know what we think of Pusha T for. He's a dope boy rapper. That's what he is. That's what he talks about. So you have no I have a problem when I look at certain people and they're speaking, because Drake is an easy target. And I just don't like when certain people get at him in certain ways, because like Pusha T, your music isn't helping push black people in an upliftment way in general. When I see Joe Budden on his podcast talk about Drake or Kendrick, I mean, what Drake and Kendrick was saying, alleging that both of them have done, Joe Budden has been accused of by multiple people on multiple instances. So for him to even have a morality argument against Drake or anybody, like I remember when he was talking about Drea, the little girl from Basketball Wives, that girl, and he was talking about how she's a predator for having a baby with Jalen Green, who's 23. Joe Budden was popping all these young girls at 22 when he was 37. It's like I can't take that level of, like, certain people. I get what you're saying, but you can't say that.
Well, I think Drake does what he does in his way. I wouldn't expect Drake to speak on a black issue, because there's also business behind doing that. If you're going to be speaking on black issues, a lot is going to affect your impact. It's going to affect your marketing. It's going to affect your branding. So you got to be careful with that. You're going to take a lot of punches for speaking on black issues, because it's going to open up a hornet's nest of people that would rather just argue with you. So and Drake Canada,
You also have to know what you're talking about.
Another point, y'all saying it, and it might be a little bit almost slightly off topic, but I thought it was insulting that the Democrats decided to have like Cardi B talk to Joe Biden during the president election. You know what I'm saying? And even like they had a rapper like Juvenile doing a rap video and rap rapping about taking a vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like
Joe
that.
Biden also said if
You
you
know,
don't vote for him, you're
like
not
you
Right.
said,
And they just remixed Not Like Us, the Biden campaign remixed Kendrick's joint for their campaign or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all political.
Hip hop
And
is presidential. Every day the president sits in his office and he gets a briefing. In that briefing, he gets a report of what's hot in hip hop. I know that sounds crazy to people, right? But the job of the president is to know the pulse of the street. So you think he don't know about Kendrick and Drake's battle? He
yeah, but
knows.
it actually is you know it's not
it's
good
all
for hip hop artists to be used in that way. So
Of course.
Well,
like the brother just said earlier, everybody don't have to be conscious. You know what I'm saying? And like we don't need everybody to be conscious because some people aren't qualified to be conscious and to speak on certain things. You know what I'm saying? When it really come down to it.
I
And
agree.
Drake, and
well,
then
that's
when
why
you talk about
that.
like Drake, oh my fault. But when you talk
All
about
right.
Drake, he doesn't. I feel like he does. If he tries to do the I'm gonna stay away from this conversation because he doesn't have knowledge on it, I'm cool with it. But he also doesn't go out here and flagrantly just disrespects like black culture. I mean, you could talk about the cosplaying thing as disrespect, but it's not like he coming out here on some Busta Rhymes timing and just being like, yo, they don't have a culture at all. Like Drake, he kind of like, he tries to, fit in. That's his
right.
that's his
But
thing.
and my question is, what's the conversation, quote unquote? Because there seems to be several conversations. Be one conversation that's on message that they want people to have, right? And there's another conversation that we're not having. So it's like he's not speaking about the approved conversation when it comes to our community, right? So it's kind of just disingenuous what Super Duper is saying. It's like it has to be the approved. He ain't speaking on the approved conversation, the approved message. So I kind of stay clear from all that, man. But I see what people are saying, but I don't really knock anybody that's not jumping in those conversations. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I
You
just
gotta
don't.
be careful. You gotta be careful in those conversations. We can sense what is good for us and what is not good for us. 90% of the conversation that comes through a certain channel, it's designed to not be good for you, right? They don't want to see black people stand up and be in a full greatness because that will work against their agenda, right? So certain artists, they know how to navigate that. Mike may disagree with me, but I think Common knows how to navigate politics in hip hop. I think Ice Cube knows how to navigate politics in hip hop. Or Chuck D or whatever, right? Then you have some people that are younger, a Drake. He may not know how to articulate that, but I also think he's black culture. He makes love songs. He has a black father. That's part of, but I think you got to know how to navigate both, but be mindful that if it's put if Biden is having you do something or anybody having, they're not thinking about what is in the greatest interest of black people. They're thinking about what is in the interest of the entire country. So that includes everybody. So
Hey,
not and
we definitely all over the place right now, man. Like,
Yeah, I was trying to center real quick because I think a lot of times what Drake's getting the backlash for is, the industry is pushing you to be the face of Black American culture, hip hop, and you're kind of othered from it. I think that's where the disconnect comes. That's why when he does some of these weird internet shit, and he's like the most famous rapper in the game, and you get that backlash, and when he says stuff like, "Oh, you rapping like you're trying to free the slaves," it's like, why would you say? I mean, who would really say that if you from here? Like nobody would. I mean, unless you're a really ignorant type of rapper. I don't think Drake is ignorant. So these kind of disconnects is what happens when you have the popular culture is starting to grow, and you got people that are coming in, and they're not operating like the visitors. They're operating like like they have there's no gatekeeping at all. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want to do, say whatever they want. Y'all don't have a culture. Like black hip hop isn't black, it's American. That's what people used to. That's what these dudes started picking up on the internet. And it's time we got to gatekeep this shit. It is what it is. I know people are gonna get in their feelings about it, but it's crossed that road now because now
I
y'all
might
getting very disrespectful, and we let everybody into our culture. We haven't gatekeep it at all. We let everybody in. This is Asian hip hop, this Latin hip hop, there's Korean hip hop, there's Swedish hip hop. You can name every country in the world as a hip hop version of it, and we let them come through and shine and do whatever the fuck they want to do, and it's cool. But when these other people start coming in, using our platforms, talking to our people, disrespecting what we built with sweat, blood, and tears, y'all gotta leave. It's time to go.
It is
especially when they're trying to supplant us.
Is our
but I think there's a
100%
difference.
ours, or is it a mixture?
It's controlled. It may still feel like ours, but it's controlled. It's at a place where we're stagnant.
Gangster rap, is gangster rap our culture, or is it their culture? Because who was the first gangsters? Was it us or was it them? Do y'all know they had gangster poets and gangster artists before us? Did y'all know that? White folks already had that. So is gangster rap our culture? Or if you go back far enough, you're gonna see them already having gangster.
But Leroy, man, you want to lean on the hip hop aspect of culture. That's not really like this. Just because it's
Right.
it's rap and a rapper said it. When a rapper say something like that, you got to dig deeper than that. We're not talking about pimps and hoes and gangsters and making money like you was trying to say the last episode. It's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And
this is our culture. We got to be very specific and know what our culture is. And I'm not saying hip hop isn't our culture, because I believe it is our culture. But there are certain things on a surface level that was already here, and we just made it sound great.
But at the same time, though, you kind of stereotyping the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like you leaning on the bullshit instead of leaning on like the actual culture part of the culture.
Stereotypes are models of behavior that are in entertainment.
I don't think that we talking about like when somebody is like offended by what a Busta Rhymes is saying or a Fat Joe is saying, they not leaning on the stereotype. You know what I'm saying? And like you leaning into the stereotype to like validate what they saying.
So we can move away from the stereotype. If how much of our music moves away from stereotype, meaning how much is not based on getting money or based on being tough.
Yeah, but we're not talking about music. This goes back to that again. We really not talking about music when it comes down to culture and black culture. Like when somebody, like when a Busta Rhymes say black people don't have no culture, right? Music and hip hop is one thing, but then everything else is another thing, because we way more deeper than that. Like we can name multiple things where our culture inflects where we put a input or you know what I'm saying. So it's not about rap music. Like you stuck on the rap music side of it and not the actual cultural thing that most people is actually talking about.
Got it. Well, I'm talking about the music because we're here on According to Hip Hop, but on a sidestep, even cultural wise, it is a mix. It's a reversal, right? We got soul food from reversing the treatment of how we were getting our food. We got a lot of our clothes from our style of clothing from reversing the racism built into a certain market. And so a lot of it is a reaction to a pressure that was already there. So yes, it is our culture, but it is also just us doing what we got to do. You know what I mean? And we do it cool.
That don't mean that we don't have ownership of it. I don't know what you're trying to say. Like people ain't dressing like gangsters in the 50s. They're dressing like Jay-Z and Nas. People are not talking. The streamers that say we don't have a culture, they're not talking like where the country they come from. They're talking like we talk.
There was a time culture where gangster clothing means you go get a good suit, right? So the mafia was out in good suits. We got good suits. Now we was doing that before the mafia.
Yeah, but that's not our culture, though, Leroy.
The mafia don't wear good suits because they're gangsters. They wear good suits to look nice. Everybody's wearing a good suit to look nice. It's the 50s.
I get what Leroy said. It was attached to them. I get you, Leroy.
I'm just saying, like, yes,
that was attached to them because that when you thought about gangsters, that was them. When you see the suit, you know what I'm saying? In that context, suits, predate them, but in that context, that's
of course. Yeah. But yes, our culture is ours, yes, but we are on American soil, so that means we also have the influence of what's going on in America. Do you know what I'm saying?
But like I said, I think that
My
you
G,
digging into
we
the
are the influence. You got it
we are the
backwards.
influence, and so you
Nah,
digging
y'all can't.
into more of the
Wait,
negative side of like
wait.
the actual impact of what we have done.
Wait, we are the influence, but we also influence. We are influenced too. You get what I'm saying? So it goes hand in hand. I know we want to be so
It's
prideful.
no
I get
wrong
that.
here. It's no
Yeah.
right here.
It isn't right
Everybody.
and wrong.
But
There is no hand in hand. It's our culture. There's no like. What do you mean?
What I mean is,
Everybody gets influence. What you create out of it is what's yours.
now let's talk about music, right? We talk
yeah, all
about
right. So look,
now let's talk
let's
about
speak.
culture and music. Did we develop the music industry? No. So we came into the
Right.
music industry doing what we had to do to survive, right? But we did not create this.
Time out real quick. I just want to ask the audience, because this is an interesting conversation. We started off
Deeper than
you
rap.
talked about Rapsody. We talked about Rapsody. We talked about Mach Hommy. We talked about Lupe. Then we even brought it, to talk about conscious rap. Do y'all want us to have conversations like this more often? Because I think this is good. I think this is a healthy conversation. We're talking about the culture, how our culture has spread across the globe. Japanese people take it. I even posted a video about a couple of weeks ago where there was like a cipher in India. You know what I'm saying? South America is rocking it. You know what I mean? You got Canadians coming and dominating the game. Tory Lanez and Drake. You know what I mean? So, you got people, Iggy Azalea coming from Australia, having her moment. You got people from Africa. But, Black American culture that created hip hop is global. You know what I mean? So I think these are conversations that we should continue, but I'm just curious if the audience wants to continue, have us continue having these conversations. I think it's deep. We got to dig deeper on these. I think this is good.
There's a difference to me between what Drake do and then some of the other guys though. Like Akon came and made convict music, then go and say the African Afrobeat thing is, what is it more is more love, is not violent. Like you can't do that, bro. You came in here, you was saying bullshit when you came and you did the convict music, and then you co-signing a rat after that. Then you go back and you want to give lights to Ghana, which is great, but then you can't just then go on podcasts and say, well, their music is violent, our music is about love, and you can't. I think we give Drake. If we just take it and talking about Drake and how he was the face, I think Drake has actually been fairly more respectful than a lot of like people that, let's say, I'm not gonna say they're not, like who's been Americanized, because Busta Rhymes is Jamaican, but he's Americanized, right? So when Busta Rhymes says they don't, Black Americans don't have a culture, that's, I think, more disrespectful than anything Drake has ever really done. Because Drake could be Post Malone. Drake could just come on with the White Iverson braids, then say I'm not hip hop. He has never really done that.
Busta comes from a God body ideology, right? So he's coming from that angle, and Caribbean, and he's Jamaican, right? But we're in 2024. In 1924 or 1824, that may be too early. White folks used to attempt to make black music, right? They didn't really know what they was doing, but they used to paint their face black, and then they used to get on stage and act aggressive towards the other black faces. Now, these are white people with their face painted black, and they realized that the crowd would get more into it the more violent they became. So they used to come out, and one black guy, he's not really black, he's a white guy with black face. One black guy would disrespect the other black guy, then the black guy would kill him, right? So that became a form of entertainment with that violent streak, and they marketed it that way, and they put music behind it, and they started putting lyrics behind it.
So you talking about programming? They basically programmed us.
They knew that the more that they did that, it would create a model for behavior, but they never worried about it, because they said, well, if it becomes real in the street, black folks are only going to attack other black folks because we've been doing it on stage for so long. The minstrel show era lasted 100 years, and it was a form of entertainment, and it was popping like hip hop like around the world. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this where I, like I said, where I can slightly almost understand what you mean and what like somebody like a Busta Rhymes mean. That okay, we come from ancestry of slaves. Like we was enslaved here, and then we were, quote unquote, given a lot of the
Yeah.
things that we got access to, and then we changed what we was given and put our style and our swag on it, right? If that's what we want to say. But we still created culture while being here. You know what I'm saying? So just because we here and we not there doesn't mean that we don't have culture. Just because we not Indians and we not Africans wearing traditional African wardrobe doesn't mean that we don't have culture. Just because we not
Right.
eating African food or eating rice and beans like the Mexicans, or you know what I'm saying, doing whatever that they do in their homeland because that's their homeland, doesn't mean that we don't influence and have culture. And that's the problem that I think most of us really have with that. Like we put our twist on everything. We
I
taught
agree.
them everything at the same time. So if it, like, America don't have culture if we don't have culture. And that's really the problem that I think most of us have with it.
Well,
They,
we
I
if we
think
don't,
I think the overall problem is because we're not a major population in this country. That's why people think we're not supposed to have ownership of it because we influence the entire country because we're a small population in the country. People feel like, oh well, it's everybody's. You don't have these problems in Mexico where you have the conquistadors mixing with the indigenous people. They create a mass population of people. They have culture over there. No one credits the Spaniards for Mexican culture. All
exactly.
across Brazil, all across the world, we have these mixing pots of identities that come and they all interplay into one dominant culture. If we were the dominant culture in this in this country and we had the mass population, there wouldn't be any gray area.
Dominant
Only reason,
race.
only I mean in numbers. Only reason why there's a gray area is because we're only like 10% of the population, and people feel like, oh well, y'all not running shit here, so why should y'all own hip hop? Y'all don't have a culture. Anybody can do hip hop.
Are we
It's not
really?
black music. Jazz is not black. Rock is not black. Uh, R&B is not black, and that's what it
Blues.
is. Blues
I
is
mean,
not black.
I'll say
That's
this.
what it is.
I'll say this, right?
of course, yeah.
I'll say this. I think first off, if you go like Caribbeans, Africans, Black Americans, they pretty much eat around about of the same foods. They just call it different names, bro. That's
Yeah.
one. So a lot of times when like the Caribbeans and the Africans get on that bullshit, you can't even don't even respect that because they eat the same foods. Africans have had grills in their mouth or gold, like they call it gold teeth. That's been they've been doing that for like quote unquote millennia. I've read in certain parts. So it's not like a lot of the stuff like black people across the diaspora, they pretty much do pretty much the same thing. It's just, you know, if we're just gonna be honest, all three sides, where you talk about the Americans, the Africans, the Caribbeans, if you want to also include the the South American people, because there's black people there or whatever, and the UK people, they just really complaining over. They just bickering. You know how. Let's be
No one
real. We all brothers. We all brothers. We know how brothers are. When you come when you're like talented. Like you know about the barbershop. You got that dude like, oh, they ain't really doing nothing. I can
right.
do that. Like that's how black people just are. So I really don't take nobody too serious. It's just petty
Hey,
bickering. Like
nobody
that's
is
what they
giving us
do.
credit, y'all. Nobody but us is gonna give us credit for nothing. Not here. You know, they're not gonna tell us what we started. They're gonna say, "Nah, you didn't start that." If we really go back, we could find that we pretty much started everything. But if it's not us, they're gonna take our culture, put a blonde wig on it, put blue eyes on it, paint it white, and put it up and make us be like, "Yeah." They're not
Yo,
gonna, you
yeah,
know.
and a follow back up on that, Tariq Nasheed is coming out with a film this week called Microphone Check, because his argument was that other cultures were taking credit for what Black Americans did in hip hop. I'm gonna play the trailer real quick, and I want to get everyone's thought on the panel about Microphone Check and this film, and then I want to get a conversation with Tariq Nasheed next week where we kind of dig deeper in this as well.
Right. It's the 50th anniversary.
Oh, hold on. Let me share my screen real quick so y'all can see it. All right, here we go.
Still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip hop, a lot of claims, who did what, who was the first this, who was the this and that, and such and such. But at the end of the day, we need a definitive story, all right? And that story can only be told by the founders of this culture.
Like everything was being driven and influenced by young, Black, American culture, like the slang, the style of dress, the initial music that we chose.
Look at all the boroughs, got, money making Manhattan and money earning Mount Vernon and Brooklyn. The Bronx was the boogie down Bronx. We was partying up there.
I am Coke LaRock, the first MC of hip hop. First cat to pick the mic up.
I introduced rapping to the turntable because when I came with it, nobody in the world was doing it. I'm right after Rudy Ray Moore.
They want to come in the mix. They want to say, we started. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What came to be known as hip hop was solely an African American creation.
What would you get out of some Jamaican toast? What is that? I've never heard of a rapper use a Jamaican toast or a Jamaican flute as a rhyme. I never heard of it, and I don't know where that myth came from.
My name is legendary King Trixie from the Bronx, DX from the West Side. I am the first breakdancer.
And that narrative that hip hop has had 3 founding fathers, that's been rolling for the last almost 30 years, which isn't true. You don't have just 3 people who created hip hop. Hip hop was created by a number of different people.
I am the grandfather, the godfather of the graffiti culture. I am the first element of hip hop.
The roots of hip hop being Jamaican, absolutely false.
My name is MC Shara. I am a founding member of the MC/rap culture.
Cassette tapes was the internet of our time. It just traveled around by hand.
I know for a fact that the B-boy stance started from the guards, 5 percenters that would be at the jams back in the days who were acting as security.
If they get the real truth of how it all was created, then so many lies would not be able to be in existence.
Yo, so
here, big wireless.
So I thought that was timely. I thought that was timely based upon the conversation that we were having tonight, because I've heard other hip hop artists say that, hip hop was started by Jamaicans, it was started by Puerto Ricans. I even heard some people say the Chinese created hip hop. It was just some weird stuff I heard. You know what I'm saying? So
who started the Jamaican thing? Was it just because of Cool Herc?
Because of Cool Herc.
Because Cool Herc, and I think Busta Rhymes kind of picked up on it. You know what I'm saying? And that narrative kind of picked up a few years ago, saying that Jamaicans created the foundation of hip hop. So this movie Microphone Check, and hopefully we'll get the director on next week, is kind of trying to dispel this myth that it was a Black American creation. I know other folks are saying that it was a mix. It was a mix. I don't know, because I haven't really done I've only been told I already know what I've been told. That what I know is it's a Black American expression that we created this culture. But a lot of Puerto Ricans in New York are saying they co-created it. But I wasn't up in New York.
I see some docs. It's pretty much Black Americans created it, and everybody else then threw their 2 cents in after it was created. I guess you could say help build it up even more, if you want to give them that. But it was already created. It's not like there was nothing. There's no found. They already had break dancers. They already had DJs scratching on, all that other stuff. They already had graffiti. Even though I guess graffiti could go back to like hieroglyphics, but I'm not gonna go into all that. But it's Black Americans created hip hop. Everybody else added. I guess you could say Puerto Ricans maybe added something to it. Jamaicans added something to it, because I'm not going to say KRS-One didn't add anything to hip hop, right? We can't do that either. But to say that Jamaicans created it,
yeah, that's a stretch.
That's a lie.
Two things can be right. I think two things. Right. So if anyone says black people in America didn't create hip hop, that would sound kind of crazy to me. I think there's enough documented evidence to show that 99 or 90% of what you see now is an American black creation. However, for us to think that 1,000 years ago nobody told a story that rhymes over a drum, I think there probably was people to do that, and I think there's a documented history of griots. So I think two things could be right at the same time.
Yeah, nothing is.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I kind of see what Leroy's saying, because like if you look at hieroglyphics,
you don't think black folks
and graffiti are kind of similar.
Yeah, but it's not hip hop. It's art.
They wasn't rhyming.
Was James,
It wasn't rhyming.
Look. Was James Brown rhyming? Yes, he got songs where he sound like he rapping.
Yeah, he was
for sure, but that's not hip hop.
Look, wait.
James Brown kind of hip hop, bro. We can't.
He is the godfather of soul.
Wait. Because if James Brown not rapping, then that means nobody from the South or nobody from the West Coast is rapping, because it started in New York. And I'm not gonna say that. You get what I'm saying? If you're gonna say that James Brown is not rapping, then nobody else outside of New York is rapping.
But say something.
This is the problem when
they're not doing it the same way.
But they rapping in Chicago though?
I'm not saying that they're not rapping. I'm saying that they are rapping.
But this is I get you. My bad. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is we can't say like Leroy said. Two things could be true. Those people were rapping back then. Now, why we wasn't calling it rap or considering it hip hop, I don't know.
Because it wasn't hip hop. It was a genre already. We trying to conflate two things together, and it just don't need to be together. Those eras, they were rapping, yes, but that's not hip hop.
Okay,
That's soul, that's jazz, that's bebop. It's not hip hop.
But hip hop is
that's what makes hip hop. Those expressions, those eras have their expressions. If let me land the plane real quick. If Ray Charles want to talk shit and be like, if we was rapping back in the day, he can say that because he started an era. He can say that, but you're not going to hear Ray Charles say I started hip hop. No, you're not going to hear him say some shit like that.
With elements, hip hop is a mixture of elements, but those elements were there. So yes, those elements makes hip hop. Yes, the mix of all the elements. However, the elements were already there. There were already people who were rhyming. Now they weren't rhyming, and they weren't rhyming like what we see today. No, but did they put together poems over music? And there's a whole jazz poetry era. Like that's not hip hop, but it's close. It's close.
It's not close. I'm just trying to figure out what's the point. It's like we created R&B. What people sung before. What does R&B is a less of a art form because people sung before?
Wait.
I mean, but what about like Michael Jackson? Because I hear when I listen to Michael. My fault.
Hold on. If we saying that's not hip hop, then what's going on now ain't hip hop. Sorry, the stuff we listening to today is not hip hop. If we thinking that way,
right?
Sexy Red is not hip hop. Drake ain't hip hop when he sings. That's not hip hop. If we're thinking in that context.
Well, the context is when you have the reason why it's still hip hop is because when you have a culture, then you learn how to subvert the culture. The reason why Sexy Reds and the Boat and all these guys are popular is because they're subverting what's already there. You have to know the rules to break them. There's a reason why Sexy Red says all the explicit shit in her songs, because she knows she's going to get a reaction. The reason why you're going to get a reaction because you have something you have Lil' Kim before that.
Wait. Hip hop is the broken rules of what James Brown and them was doing. That's what hip hop is.
What about like Michael Jackson too? Michael Jackson was basically hip hop. When you hear Michael Jackson sing, he not really like singing. It's like he got a little rhyme to it.
The reason why
hip
like he's not rapping.
Now that's the first I heard. We calling Michael Jackson an MC now.
I'm not calling him. I don't mean to call him an MC. I'm not saying he an MC, but I'm just saying when you hear Michael Jackson sing, there is like a flow. There's a certain flow pattern to it that's not like Michael Jackson sings different from Luther Vandross. Like he's mixing what James Brown did, that you eventually would hear a lot of hip hop artists do. It's not. I see what Say Son is saying though. Like
what I'm saying is in the 90s when the East Coast West Coast thing, a lot of New York guys felt like West Coast rappers and down South rappers could not rap. They felt like that. A lot of them still feel like that today. Like them niggas can't rap.
Right,
So,
right. They
I
didn't give the South. They didn't give the South their respect.
Right, and they can rap because who's to say that? Because let's be real. During that time in rap, everybody had to be original. So the South is original. The West Coast style is original. The Midwest style is original. So to say that they wasn't rapping, it's kind of like you treading the line there because if everybody sounded like New York, it'd be a problem. But because they don't sound like wait. Because they don't sound like New York is a problem. But let's just say the whole West Coast, everybody sounded like New York. New York would be crying about that. They wouldn't like it. So
this is the
tricky. Tricky was saying what's hip hop and what's not because or saying that things that predate hip hop is not like the origins or the foundation kind of because then a lot of the stuff we hearing today, we reason why we try to make up these new names because we don't really want to say it's hip hop, so we'll say trap soul or that's trap or what I'm saying, drill rap, like.
But hip hop will take that. The reason why hip hop, all the other styles and musics can be colonized, right? And we saw them get colonized. The reason hip hop can't be colonized is because hip hop is the guy that's good at all the sports, right? Hip hop is going to take anything, no matter what you throw at hip hop, it's going to reverse it and make it a part of it. That's why hip hop is unique in that way. So, no matter what comes through the door, hip hop is going to snatch it and use it for its own benefit. So it don't matter what style. Hip hop is all the styles. Everything you could think of, hip hop is going to take and morph it. And that's what makes hip hop unique.
Hey, real quick though, on that note, I gotta dip out. This has been a great conversation, but I gotta get back to the job. You know what I'm saying? Respect to y'all though.
Yo, John Noah, we appreciate you, man. Hey, don't get tired from doing your victory lap, man. We'll talk to you next week, brother.
All right, BZ, y'all. Enjoy y'all weekend.
Let me say this real quick before y'all can continue with this. I think that right now hip hop is to the point to where we do almost need another genre, like another name to call this what they doing now. Like what guys like Future is doing and pretty much half of what Drake is doing. And like we almost need an alternative music genre to add to hip hop, almost how like disco was added to the R&B or whatever.
Grunge was added to rock.
Yeah. I look at a lot of, like, if I was to equate what we listening to now with a lot of these guys, like what's the little dog name? A Boogie with the Hoodie, and even guys like what's the little young dog name?
Roddy Ricch.
Roddy Ricch. Yes, that's what I was thinking about. Like guys like that, we almost need a alternative version of what we consider in hip hop. To like, we can name it something else at this point because hip hop, as we know it, is basically dead. Like it's basically dead. These guys are more or less singing, rapping, harmonizing, whatever we want to call it. They're not really at the essence of what guys like myself and maybe even guys like Leroy and Ron and even you, Mad Max, would consider the essence of hip hop. So we wouldn't take it as personal if they did have okay, he's the king of crap rap, whatever we want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Whatever we want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever the name they come up with, other than calling it just truly hip hop and rap, we wouldn't take it as personal, and we wouldn't even be as hard on them as we kind of tend to be. You know what I'm saying? They definitely need a new category for what they're actually currently doing.
But what do we do then with certain rappers from the past, like Nate Dogg and the guys from who used to run with Easy?
I mean, honestly, Nate Dogg wasn't considered rap though. Really, we never really considered Nate Dogg rap. He was an R&B singer.
Okay,
he
that's
sang
before
the
my
hooks.
time. So, all right. If that's the case, I always agree with that though, because I think when you look at like dudes like Lil Uzi, to me that's rock. But I think what happens is, remember when Kanye West said, "Being called a rapper is the new N-word." Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
So I think other genres are just not gonna accept these dudes. They're like those are the N-words. Because rock and roll could have came back if they just accepted dudes like Lil Uzi and XXX when he was alive, and because all those dudes is doing was pseudo rock and roll on a hip hop beat, but it's not really. They're not rhyming though. If you
I
want to be
think as
for real.
soon as the auto tune became like a real major factor, that's when we honestly needed that alternative word for hip hop. Once auto tune became a part of the game as such, like like at the major factor that it became, that's when we needed disco. If that's whatever, however we want to call it, that's when we needed our version of disco.
Yeah. Well, if we pick another name though, if you're saying hip hop is dead, right, and we pick another name for another style, it may accelerate the death of hip hop rather than to just say that's hip hop too, because hip hop, even though like Nate Dogg, right, that's G-Funk era, right? So G-Funk is G-Funk. It's not hip hop, but then again, it is hip hop. So it's like I think all these things are hip hop because I don't think hip hop has an anchor to it where this is just hip hop. I think hip hop is a ever moving and changing, like language, how we implement new slang, but the language is still the language, but we changed the dynamic with slang. And I think the music changes, but it's still hip hop.
Nate Dogg never spit a bar. He sang.
Right.
So he was singing. Like it wasn't.
Nah, man.
Nate
was nice, man. Nate was nice.
No. He was definitely nice. I'm not saying that he wasn't nice. What I'm saying is that he never spit a bar. He never tried to harmonize a rap verse. You know what I mean? Like So he was singing. Nate Dogg was purely R&B. He was a singer. And when the CD came out, it was an R&B CD with some, with a thug twist to it, basically. You know what I'm saying? If you want to even call it that. It was R&B with a thug twist. But he was singing, hands down. We know that he was singing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But on the side of Nate Dogg was Warren G and Snoop. Nate Dogg was the hooks for Warren G and Snoop. So yes,
but Nate Dogg dropped a solo CD, and half of them songs wasn't nobody rapping on them. He was singing.
Right, but that was like in the later part of the 90s after he had already made a name on a bunch of rap songs. But I think hip hop stays around longer if we allow it to morph and change. If we try to define,
it's fine for hip hop to go ahead and ride off in the sunset, because at this point it's insulting us, where we considering guys like a Drake, or what I'm saying, like really, like, I mean, we're gonna stick with the Drakes.
Right.
Like we got guys or people or fans comparing a guy like Drake to Nas and Jay-Z.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I agree with him there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd rather let the sport of hip hop die and say that we moved on to something else than for those two to be compared. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that Drake is a big artist. He has his times where he rapping, but he more famous and his more popular songs are his singing songs. And that's the problem that we as hip hop guys have with Drake. So if it was another genre that we could be like, all right, that's crap hop. Like whatever the name is going to be, that's crap hop. He the #1 crap hop artist in the world. He the GOAT of crap hop. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Right. I mean, hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but you know, I'd have to think about it, man, because like R&B, right? R&B is not hip hop, but R&B got a lot of the elements of hip hop, even though it's not that. You know what I mean?
But,
So I think that
Leroy,
hip-
man, come on now. Would you
Can I say
consider
this real quick?
Jodeci hip hop too?
But Super Duper,
I
I
can see
see
that.
what Leroy,
You know,
Super
but
Duper. I see what Leroy's saying
Can I say
because
something real quick? I think hip
yeah,
hop.
go ahead, bro.
I think hip hop is a huge testament to where we are as a culture. I personally think that hip hop should have had some years where it died because if you look at the content with hip hop, it's still reflecting poverty in my view. I think jazz has had a time where it's not allowed. You got to figure they was coming from what's going on was, and they got out of that. We're still in what our struggle. You get what I'm saying? When Marvin Gaye and them, their main plight that they were going through at their time, they got out of that. In a sense, there was no, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Now we're still in gun violence, we're still in drugs, we're still in jail, we're still thriving, and we think it's cool. You get what I'm saying? We think it's because hip hop still feels
about that
good.
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, hip hop should have died a long
No,
time
I
ago.
think it should die. I don't think it should die. I
No,
think
no.
hip hop
What I'm
should,
saying is,
I think it should move away from being street. Like we've
yeah,
been
yeah,
street
right, right.
so
Yeah,
long
it's
that I
way too
think we should say,
long.
okay, we did the streets, you know. Now let's try to move it to Main Street and see what happened. Okay, we're on Main Street. Now let's try to move it to maybe the rural areas. Let's try to move it to
Yeah, yeah,
technology.
yeah.
Let's try
Right,
to move
right,
it,
right. That's what I'm
keep
saying. Yeah,
moving the ball. Like when a rapper shows up and says, "Okay, I'm street," it's like, okay, that's cool, but I kind of know the street. I've
yeah.
been
It's
there
played
already.
out.
So,
Yeah.
But let me push back. Let me push back a little bit because hip hop has been moving past the street for a very long time. I mean, you think
Not
about
really,
Kanye.
Rob. Not
Think about
really.
Kanye. You think about Kanye. Kanye is not a street dude. You think about
It's
Lupe.
that
You
was a
think about
moment in time, but after
Eminem.
a
Eminem
while,
was
it went
middle
back.
America, but the street rap. I mean, those are some of the biggest artists of the last 20 years, and they're not street guys. You
Yeah,
know what I
Yeah,
but
but
mean?
then
Ron, when you say that though,
as soon as Kanye came out, then Chief Keef came out and ruined that. It wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't that long. I mean, it was kind of long because Kanye came out at 04, but eventually it went to drill and trap music, and there's been
And
a
Drake
dual.
ain't
But
street.
look.
These guys ain't been. You know, these guys have been the most popular artists for the last 20
Look,
years.
For every
contrary.
Drake, there's a Meek Mill.
Look,
There's a Meek. There's a,
contrary to what the creators of hip hop say, they say it started in the street. But if you listen to the content wasn't aggressively street. It was tales of what was going on. So you always had that balance of like which what we was calling conscious, and then it got gritty. Like you get your Coogee raps and certain people bringing a more rougher element to it. So it's always side by side. But
can
I think both.
can hip hop go Afrofuturism? Can hip hop go Afrofuturism and just see what happens? Let's try it. You know what I
No, because
mean?
we got
they
FBA,
trying that in New York. It's not.
we got the
Try it.
FBAs today. We got the people that saying they're not
I spoke about
African
theater.
American.
I spoke about Broadway. I tried to get people on some musical stuff. I even went so far as to talk to Rod Digger about it, talk to try to get some writers to do it. Lupe did it on his own accord and he gave up on it, I think. But it's like, I think we should move into a different realm. I love street music. I love gangster rap. I do. I swear to God I do. But I think it's been done so many times that I
It's
don't
played
think
out.
it's new gangster rap that you could tell me that I would be like, okay, I never heard that. Like, I think it's been done, so I think we should move the ball to somewhere else. You know,
If we are gonna move, but if we are gonna move it, there has to be guys who are interesting in
Right.
other ways, though. I think what happens with
But
why
look, it
street hip
is
hop
new.
always comes
We have
around.
Jake. We have Drake. We don't want to accept that, but
Drake is only. I hear what you're saying, but Drake is one artist, though.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because like, because most of the people that are really interesting in hip hop, they tend to be for the lack of they tend to be the street cats. Pop Smoke was lit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I can listen to that like every day. That's not good for me to listen to that every day, but I can.
The energy.
I don't think people want to hear, I like J.Cole, but I don't think the average person don't want to hear J.Cole like that unless they're older and they want content, right?
But see, that's what I was saying. That's the problem. Like I think a lot of times in our culture, we have people that stay in that realm so that the music can match that realm. We have to grow. There's nothing. I think we're scared to get out of that. Like we don't like we were saying, like a different. We don't have to always stay in that realm just because I'm growing up in the poverty stricken area. Like now, I don't. We should thrive to where our sons don't care nothing about a Biggie album or a Mobb Deep album or you get what I'm saying? Or they don't even know that lifestyle. That's what
But
I'm saying. Like
this,
they're just growing up in a whole different realm. That's why I said hip hop is a testament to where we are as a whole. We're still stuck in this whole street, uh, indulged in the trenches, or where
no,
a person like
I,
Sexy Red could thrive. And I don't got no problem with that because again, that's still going on. But I'm just saying we have to grow as a people to where our music could grow because
I think.
we
Go
still
ahead, bro.
listening to people. All we're doing is recycling. None of these new artists that street are saying anything we didn't hear unless you just was born in the 2000s. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know about
Right.
y'all. I don't listen to hip hop, street hip hop a lot because I feel like I'm listening to something I heard already. I'm in my 30s
But
now.
but
Like, you
but
get what
this
I'm
is
saying?
this is the difference between now and then, right? That most of the guys that's talking street, they only talking street. And like the difference between like a Nas or Jay-Z or a Scarface or
Wow.
a Too Short or Scarface, any of those guys like that, they gave you the good and the bad to where there was more reality to it.
Checks and
Nowadays,
balances.
yeah, it was checks and balances. Now they just over glorifying the streets. They over glorifying the drugs. They over glorifying the women and the negative side of everything, and they not really speaking the truth about it. So like now the violence is oversaturated. You know,
Yeah.
the ops is oversaturated. The gunplay is oversaturated. It's not enough reality into it to where to make it like
Right.
real, like to balance it out, like we were saying, to balance it out, or to even like make it even relatable. You know what I'm saying? Because like everybody go through their struggles, but the way that they glorifying things, everybody's rich. You know what I'm saying? They don't need they rap deals. They don't need the money. They so street that
Yeah,
they would be fine regardless. It's
yeah,
not
but
it's
this
not it's not enough realism and real life reflection to go with the street rap. So if they did have some realism into the street rap, okay, street rap and struggle is always going to be there. But the reality of what, like, being able to relate to it on an everyday level is not there. You know, either
You
you got to
basically
be a super thug killer, or you got to, you know what I'm saying? It's not enough balance, like Leroy was just showing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough balance to, like, the reality of what it is.
Right. The
you
reality.
you
Right.
you basically just saying that hip hop has become cartoonish. Like there's
it's
like
stagnant to me.
3-dimensional. It's like cartoonish though. It's like everybody playing a character. And I'm not saying there wasn't characters before, but Pac was more 3-dimensional. He could talk the little street stuff, but then he'll show you another wrinkle to his personality. These guys don't really have wrinkles to their personality. The only rapper who really shows a lot of wrinkles is honestly, Drake and J.Cole,
Say
Kendrick.
Kendrick, man. Say Kendrick. Give him his
Yeah, I
props.
give Kendrick his credit. He has wrinkles to his personality, but after those guys, and that doesn't mean that they're making the best hip hop either, but they're the only ones with a level where they can do something else.
I mean,
Right?
a lot
I
of
get
cats,
you.
talk about the street, but they had different, like, to what Super Duper was saying. They gave you both sides of the game. Like, Jeezy came out, you know what I'm saying, Thug Motivation 101 back in the day. He had bars and different things where he was talking about the other side of the reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to be drug free when Georgia Power won't give lights free. You know what I'm saying? He's giving you the game, like, about how it was. You know what I'm saying? And T.I., Just Doing My Job, the song produced by Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? So it was balanced. It was balanced back in the day, to Super Duper's point.
I just say, like, I did a storytelling class with a bunch of rappers last year, right? So everybody's kicking their story. All the stories are violent. Like, every story I'm hearing, everyone had to write one verse, so it's not like they did a whole song, but everything was violent. And I get it. I'm cool with that, because a lot of them was telling a real life. Like, they wasn't fronting. Maybe some was fronting. I mean, the young dudes kind of was like, yeah, I'm fronting. Like, this is not my life, but I want to be accepted by the culture, so I have to rap like this. Now, that's one topic. Another thing was, but I started to say, like, if everyone's telling that story, then there's no real change in reality. So if you start telling another story, like, if you start, let me rap about, I live with an abundance of options, right? Or I live with just love. I go outside and it's love. Well, if you start rapping like that, that could turn into your reality. So I just think that we need to find some new archetypes. I spoke about archetypes. We have the same archetype. I'm either a gangster, a player, a hustler, or a party guy. I think we need to find new archetypes, and we need to find new stories and new ways of expressing it, because it becomes reality, y'all. If you keep saying the same thing over and over, that's gonna be your reality, because you keep saying it to the universe. You know?
But but how many rappers we know that's lying about their life?
Well,
I mean, you got Puffy, you got Diddy Kid rapping like a thug, man. You know what I mean?
Let's not touch on Diddy, please, because that hurts my heart.
for sure though. But you know this dude ain't never did nothing thug in his fucking life.
Right.
You know, really, he been a rich guy all his life, but he wanted to be from the gutter. I mean, I think like I got 4 kids, right? And my kids had great lives, but at the same time they relate to gutter music. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I did the same thing. I didn't have my dad in the house with me, and my struggle is way more different than theirs. But they want to relate to the struggle so bad because the struggle is so popular to relate to, and it's like the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's trendy at the moment.
But I think that goes to Shay Sun's point, though.
That's why I was. Yeah, let me say that. That's why I was saying.
Yeah,
like,
that's his point. I think.
We got.
No, I'm agreeing with him. I agree with him.
You got to figure, like, our elders. A lot of our elders, they was around when there was no hip hop. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was no, huge drug trade amongst the black community amongst them. Like, you get what I'm saying? Black people were just living normal lives, like, or women couldn't go to bars. Like, we have to get to a point where our kids are experiencing something that, or when we talk about things, they're like, dang, I ain't never know what that is. I think that what's going on now is just an extension of what people in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s went through. It's an extension. It's not something totally different. I think that we have. That's why I said maybe hip hop needed to die for a few minutes to give some, like he said, some different archetypes or different characters or different talking points, because all the kids have now is violence, mainly because the drug laws have changed. Everybody, the feds get snatched up. They can't do what people did in the 80s or the 90s. So it's nothing to go get a gun and kill somebody. So that's why you hear that. They're gonna talk about the easiest things they could do, which is the violence, or Sexy Red. Like, they're not gonna talk about. It's complex to be a serious drug dealer. That takes a lot of complexity to do. So they're not gonna talk about that. So all I'm saying is as a culture, we may have to get away from that. I think we're scared to get away from that. We consider those things black culture, being a street nigga, we consider those. We have to kind of get rid of those things and create some new things so that we can grow, and that way the content will be better, or it'll just feel like something new. That's what I'm saying.
We need more. We need more like Ghostface and MF Dooms, man. Why don't nobody want to be like Absols, rapping about conspiracy theories or being a freaking superhero? I'll take a dude
superhero rap.
Leroy, I promise you, I would take a dude who will pretend on a record that he's Batman and say he's a vigilante, making up superhero crimes, that he's being a super detective. I would like that if it's fire. I would. I'm kind of like, wasn't somebody in the 90s rapping about aliens? Wasn't that like Keith Murray or something like that?
But they always in the 90s,
Cool
they
Keith.
always kind of like
Cool
they
Keith.
always
Yeah.
kind of like pushing those,
Yeah,
Wu-Tang, a lot
character
of those
right?
pushing that.
Character
Yeah,
rap. Make up
we
a
gotta get back to that. What happened to that?
make
Why
up a
can't
character, make up a story, make up a plot, and just rap about it. I think that'll be fire. Like, you know what I mean? But we have to be
Yo,
willing to accept that.
yo,
You know?
shout out to Every Day I'm Shuffling. I guess he answered the question that I asked earlier. Should we continue having conversations like this? He says, what is this channel? We're according to hip hop. And why am I just finding it now? This is grown talk I've been looking for in the podcast. We appreciate it, sir. This is according
Thank
to
you,
hip hop. Check us out on
Salute,
Mondays.
salute.
Check us out on Wednesdays. Check us out on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. We're gonna be on 7 days a week soon. So continue having conversations like this to drive the culture forward because I think it's productive. But we want to wrap up. We're gonna wrap up tonight. I gotta, it's time for my wife is telling me it's time to wrap it up. So let's go around the horn real quick. Shah Sun, any closing words for tonight?
I just want to thank you guys for letting me on the panel. I try to catch y'all as much as I can. I hate when I miss y'all. I hate when I miss y'all because I love being in the chat. I love these hip hop conversations. I'm glad y'all here, Leroy, all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all guys are great. These are great combos for the culture. I think more people need to tune in, musically, and it bridges the gap from region to region. I love that. I was just random. I don't want to ramble, but I was just watching a cipher of some guys from Denver, Colorado. I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey, and I was glad that I found that because again, like I want us to get back to a point where music is just music and it's not regional. You get what I'm saying? As a whole, I hate that we feel like this is South music, this is West Coast music, this is, I wanted to feel like everything is ours. That's why, I want to apologize to you, man, because I was invested in that because I want us to feel like it's all one. I see people saying that, oh, that Kendrick, not like us, is not getting play over here on the East Coast, or it's just all this division. And I feel like in 2024, 2025, and from here on now, we can get back to a place where it's just black. You know what I'm saying? And we love everything. So again, I just want to thank y'all for letting me on the panel. I'll probably jump up here again if Mad Max says, nah, that's my boy. You cool, Max. But thank you guys for letting me up. I gotta take it down too. So y'all enjoy y'all night.
We appreciate you, brother. Anytime, man. We look forward to having you on next week. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter, man. We really appreciate it, man. And tell a friend to subscribe to According to Hip Hop because we got some big plans coming in the future, man. Once we get to 100,000 subscribers, we're gonna have some backing to do like a festival, right? We can have these conversations in real time and bring the family out, have some artists perform, have different panels about technology, health and wellness, politics, families, all that, man. Education. According to Hip Hop Festival, we'll probably have it in Atlanta, the first one. Then we'll have one in New York. But once we get to 100,000 followers, we're going to make that happen. So tell a friend, subscribe to the newsletter and get it popping. So I appreciate you, Shah Son. Check us with us next week. Mad Max, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, Shah Son, I apologize too, bro. He just clicked out, but I apologize too. I didn't want to go there, but yeah, hip hop. I see what Super Duper said. You know what's funny? Before I give my closing thoughts, there was a time where I was working, right? And this old lady, she was like 70, 80, black lady, right, from Brooklyn. And she had a Biggie Small shirt on. And I was like, you like Biggie? So I was like kind of shocked. And she's like, yeah, I like Biggie. I was like, ain't that like after your time, man? And she's like, I grew up on it with James Brown and rhythm and blues. She said it was all the same to her. So to a previous point that Leroy made about R&B, I kind of see that point too. Yeah, if you're a hip hop artist, listen, I'm in. I want to hear about vigilante rap. Let's make that a thing. I want to hear about some Batman-ish shit. I don't care if you guys make an album going to another planet and you get superpowers. I don't give a damn. At least as long as the beat is fire, your voice is dope. You got a fresh style.
Yep.
And you got good lyrics. The content is depending on what you want to do with it, but as long as everything's dope, you don't have to. I'm cool with it. I like Lauryn Hill. Same. I can listen to Lauryn Hill. I could go listen to Foxy Brown. I have no issue, but it's like going to watch a comedian. Back in the day, they had Bill Cosby for like the daytime, and then at nighttime you go listen to Red Fox. That's what you do.
I want to hear a whole rap Marvel universe. I want to hear a
like
rap Marvel universe.
yeah, you guys can do multiple things. You know, the girls don't have to always talk about you know, whatever Sexy Red and Ice Spice is doing. Also Rhapsody. Listen, you need to go ghostwrite for these girls. I'm not into your music personally. Go ghostwrite them for them because I think you can write for them some dope stuff and maybe they
It's
can
underway,
throw it
man.
fresh.
Ghostwriters out there, any ghostwriters out there, any artists out there, or anybody just in hip hop, there's a place for you. And it don't matter what town you in. If you serious about it, holla at us. We'll come through, especially with the ghostwriting thing. That's on the way, bro. Like it's already happening. Like y'all could make some money off this too. Like so everything if we want to change, I like this conversation because it's the change is already happening. And like let's try new things, y'all. So I agree with you, Mad Max.
Yeah. Like I mean, even though I'm not a fan of Action Bronson and how he tried to hijack Ghostface style, I did kind of watch his little show where he was talking about food or whatever. Hey,
rap about food, y'all. Like I know it sounds corny, but to all that cooking show stuff, they make so much money, y'all. It's like ridiculous. So rap about all them different recipes. Rap about let's just go crazy. I know doctors like that I know architects, they rap about architecture. I know people, chemical engineers rap about being a chemical engineer. Like I know it sounds crazy, but it can be done, y'all. Like
and like everything sounds corny unless you make it dope. Like there was a time where if you was a street dude, it was corny. So it's not like if all you make it sound dope, people don't care. Drake was corny. He still is corny, but a lot of people like his music because it sounds dope to them. So it don't really matter. Like Drake was talking about, simping for years now. We let it rock because some of the music that he was simping on was good. Not to me. I like more when he, get to the bars that he brag, but that's me.
Got you.
But,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want. Hip hop is an art form where it's like almost like martial arts. Where there's certain foundations, there's certain moves and techniques that you have to learn and master.
Right.
But then you could, with that, like Bruce Lee said, it's fluid. You could do, it's a spectrum. You could do what you want with it. It's art. You don't have to be, I don't need a Bugs Bunny 2-dimensional cardboard cutout and you telling me you on the block again. That's fire, it's fire, but I don't need it. So I see what everybody was saying. That's what I was gonna say. Peace out, y'all. I got love for everybody, man. I got love for all y'all, man.
Appreciate you, man. Wow.
Max.
No doubt, man. We're gonna holler at you. We come to New York, man, Max. We appreciate you tapping in with us, bro. We appreciate it.
All right, peace.
No doubt. Super duper, brother. In Boston, Beantown tonight, man. What's going on in Beantown tonight, bro?
Man, it's raining. I'm dark. It is lonely, man. I need to get where I can go get some action.
Hey, man. We need to go. We need to be like a live street reporter, man. Find out what's going on in Beantown, bro. Let's see what's going on.
Hey, but on the other hand, though, man, like I said, man, much love to Ron, to Mike, Leroy, Max, everybody that tap in and ain't scared to give their opinions and let their voice be heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to the chat. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of chatter warriors out there, man. So, I mean, Ron giving y'all the opportunity to jump in. I mean, I see Leroy, you've been battling all week with them in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
I got y'all a chance. If you don't like the opinions being heard, let your opinion be heard. When Ron give you the chance to come up here and talk your stuff, come do it.
Hey, we here.
Give that keyboard a break and go ahead and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's straight up for real, man. I mean, everybody got opinions about whatever. Everybody ain't gonna agree with everything that Ron say or Mike say or Leroy say or I say. So when the opportunity is there for you, man, jump on, talk your stuff, let your opinion be heard, because who want to be just preached to about what you should like or what you shouldn't like, or if you thought the album was good or you thought it was whack, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, get on and let your opinion be heard. They're giving you the opportunity to do it. They the only podcast doing it. So that's really what I got to say, for real, straight up and down. Much love to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
hey,
it.
man, I appreciate you duper as always, brother. Be safe out there in that rain in the truck, man. But try to get into something tonight, man. Let us know what's good.
All right, for sure, man. You know, I'm
Next
always gonna
week,
get
man.
into something. I'm always gonna make something happen now.
No
You
doubt,
know?
brother. I know you gonna make something happen, bro. But pull up on us on Monday, bro. We'll talk. We'll touch base before then, though.
For sure, then. For sure. Y'all be easy.
No doubt.
Peace.
No doubt.
Peace,
Leroy,
man.
what's good? Close us out.
Yeah, I love it, man. What I love most about it is I think these are the conversations that need to be had, right? So I love hearing from the people. And like I said, I'm just a creative. Like, you know, I like all the different opinions, all the different dimensions of what we're saying. So come through, man, and let's try to just move the ball forward. You know, I ain't got all the answers. I don't think no one person has all the answers, but I think together we could come up with some new flavor, man, some new zones, some new vibes, some new ways to approach the culture. And if that kicks off, we're going to have a renaissance in this hip hop thing. And that means it's going to be cracking. So I love it.
It's gonna be cracking. But yo, again, I appreciate it. This is According to Hip Hop. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are on the way to 100,000 subscribers. We've got to get this. We're right now, it's over 17,000. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get the 100,000. Once you do that, we'll have the According to Hip Hop Festival. Please, 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 very, very important. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. You see it flashing across the bottom of the screen. That's really important to get the message across. And one more thing before I go, I want to shout out an artist called IL, Cleveland's own. Make sure he just dropped the EP, The Americans Part 3. I Keep It Classic. He's got a show called Black Families in Politics, where he interviews a lot of local politicians. We might start running that on our platform. But go to Spotify, go to Apple Music, go to Amazon Music, and go check out The Americans EP number 3. We talked about a lot about people talking about positive things and trying to talk about a different approach to rap. He's an entrepreneur. He's in the tech space. He's in politics. Check it out. I'm gonna run it one more time. The Americans, the EP number 3, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. Check it out. IL's Cleveland's own. You'll once you start listening to this brother, you'll continue to listen to him, man. He's pretty dope, man. But again, this is According to Hip Hop. I'm Ron. That's Leroy. Mike D be back on Monday. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Salute.
In the morning with a big grin on my face. Took off my do-rag so I can brush down the bicycle waves. Tap shorty next to me wearing that micro braids. She was choosing my temple face, so this morning is when she lays. Hey, they were on the strap even before we did all the facts. She's taking Decatur, but she lives in my lap. Rap. My nigga Rio had to put a drive on the map. We walking really slow because we got the south on our back. Yeah, my nigga flawless in the cranberry color lack. With that I fit with the matching shoes and the A-town hat. Act up if you wanna, you'll get put down on your back. Getting stumped out by like 8 Air Force Ones with the loosest strap. You ain't even in my race, acting like that you running rap. So stay in your lane when you speaking up on your tracks. And check out the shades, and Dr. J's, cause I'm cool as the ice cubes and my pink lemonade, okay?
Pink lemonade, magic sauce, and I polo down with a bomb of rocks. And my pearlette riding through the swats. Where them niggas stay cool because that 9 gets hot. Yeah. Pink lemonade, magic sauce, and I polo down with a bomb of rocks. And my pearlette riding through the swats. Where them niggas stay cool because that 9 gets hot.
Banana color dick is, ooh, y'all don't hear me. I'm fresher than Bill and Princess, somebody